Let's check out the solution challenge.
Let's do this.
Okay, I'll present my screen.
Welcome to the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. The mission of this challenge is to use Google technology to solve for one of the United Nations' 17 Sustainable Development Goals, aiming to end poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect the planet. Win cool prizes, mentorship from Google, and swag. Get help along the way from Google at training events, code labs, and hackathons. Submit your solution by March 31st, 2021. Register today. We can't wait to see what you build.
Let's get started.
Developer student clubs are university-based communities where students learn about Google technology and use their skills to solve local problems.
Welcome to the Developer Student Club's 2020 Solution Challenge Demo Day.
Hi everyone. The mission of this year's Google Developer Student Club Solution Challenge is to solve for one or more of the United Nations' 17 Sustainable Development Goals using Google technology. Citing the official United Nations website, these goals are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. During this video, I will show you how you can research these goals and brainstorm ideas for your Solution Challenge project. So starting with the official UN SDG site, the first thing I suggest you do is click on each of the goals and read the challenges each goal faces. For example, Goal 1, No Poverty. This page will give you a good primer to the challenges we face on our road to no poverty. And down at the bottom of the page, you can take a look at the facts and figures and the breakdown of targets defined for each goal. There's also an infographic you can check out to get a high-level overview of the current state of things as it relates to the specific goal. Go over the rest of the goals to get familiarized with them and see if any ideas come to mind about solutions you can build using technology. If ideas do arise, write them down to brainstorm further later. Another great site that can really help you generate solution ideas is DIAL, which stands for Digital Impact Alliance. We're going to focus on two tabs, SDGs and the building blocks, but I urge you to look at the other tabs. They are just as useful for your ideation stage. Okay. So let's look at the SDGs tab and take a look at Goal 2, Zero Hunger. This goal has 8 targets, which help you focus on solving a certain aspect of the goal. For example, Target 1, which summarizes as end hunger by ensuring access by all people to good, healthy food all year round. Okay, so immediately ideas start to spark. Maybe you can build a charity app that either accepts donation-safe healthy food or accepts monetary donations dedicated to providing food. Or maybe you can build a volunteering platform that brings people together to help the community at risk. Brainstorm with your team and see what aspects of these problems you are familiar with, or maybe you have access to communities who are dealing with the challenge. Having personal knowledge of a problem will allow you to design solutions which are far more effective and easier to adopt. Now, Let's take a look at Goal 10, Reduced Inequalities. Target 1, achieve and sustain income growth for the bottom 40% of the population at a rate higher than the national average. What a well-defined target. Okay, so now you can start brainstorming again on how you can achieve progress through technology here. Maybe you can build an app or a platform that educates people on financial and saving strategies. Or maybe you can help small businesses grow through education apps or e-commerce and marketing apps that are specific to your community. For example, in my community, the elderly struggle with finding online educational content, and I might consider building an elderly-friendly educational platform. This platform can potentially provide the elderly with equal opportunities at learning new skills and at increasing their income. You'll see that going through these web pages will spark many ideas in your mind. Write them down and discuss them with your team. See which idea really strikes a chord with your ability and your belief. You'll be working on this for a while. You want to solve a goal that you are passionate about or that's really close to home. In the next video in the series, I'll be going through a demo case study. I'll pick up an idea and simulate the steps my team and I will take towards a successful demo submission. I hope the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals inspire you to solve for your community in a meaningful way. We can't wait to see all of your demo submissions. Hi everyone, I'm Arman Hezarkhani, and in this video, we'll go through the workflow of building a hypothetical solution for the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. In the previous video, we explored the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals and brainstormed some sample solutions we could build. In this video, we're going to pick one of the sample solutions and together we'll quickly walk through the journey to building a successful demo. One of the ideas we came up with in the previous video was to develop an elderly-friendly education platform solving for the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, quality education. So first, I'll share my initial thoughts with my Google Developer Student Club's members. I'll introduce myself and my strengths, and I'll highlight what types of talents and experience I'm looking for in my prospective team members. For example, let's say I have solid UI UX abilities, but I need help when building the server side of my application, and I definitely need help leading the team and managing the project. Once I meet with the potential team members and some of us decide to join forces, it's time to do a design sprint. We do this in order to properly define the problem and then come up with possible solutions. For detailed instructions on this step, check out this video series. Once we're done with our design sprint, let's assume we've defined the problem as mobile apps can be too complicated for the elderly and the buttons are too small, and elderly users sometimes find the discovery stage too complicated or find the course tutor style to be too millennial oriented or fast. Also during the design sprint, we define the solution as 1, build a platform that supports the niche market of elderly education. 2, the client app should be simple to navigate and has minimal distractions, like notifications or ads. And 3, course providers can produce content specifically designed for the elderly, possibly by the elderly, thus providing a revenue stream to a usually underserved demographic. Once we've confirmed it with some potential users, it's time to start designing the user interface. We'll share this load between the team members, but I'll offer to take the lead since I believe I'm good at UX and UI. I'll share my workflow and designs, and the team will go through a few hours of feedback and revisions. This stage can take a day, or it can take a week. Don't rush to implement the solution before you're confident you've designed a workflow and functionality that solves the problem you have defined. In our design, there are 3 user types: the learner, the helper, and the teacher. And my team members are confident we're catering for all user types in the best way considering our specific market. So it's time to design the technology. We've decided to build a progressive web app instead of spending time building both a website and a native Android app. we decided to use Firebase at the backend to serve the course content to our users. At this stage, we'll probably share our thoughts with our teacher or with the DSC lead and ask for their advice on our designs and technology decisions. We'll also ask the DSC lead what workshops we should attend or what code labs we should complete, all in order to be ready for the tasks at hand. Bear in mind, this is just a quick walkthrough of this stage, so be sure to check out my videos on designing the technology or the many resources we have on the website. Next, we will spend the time to build our solution. On our team, we have a couple of members who build the progressive web app and a couple of members who build the server side, front end and back end. You might separate the tasks differently, or you might have less team members. Whatever works for you and your team is fair game. If we get stuck, we'll ask a question on Parthian. Through the Parthian platform, you'll be able to reach out to Google developer experts who are ready to help you with any technical questions you might have. Be sure to visit the platform to receive online support and mentorship while you're working on your project. This part is important. At times, you might get stuck or even dispirited. Getting advice from a world-class expert can really help your team push through and build a great solution. So, I encourage you to reach out to the Google developer experts through Parthian. Once we have a beta version, we'll go through some user testing and we'll get feedback. We'll iterate over our code and we'll remove any bugs that we find on the platform. Now that we're close to a great working version of our solution, one or two of our team members will start researching pitching strategies and how we should present our solution in a demo. We'll record a video demo of our app. And finally, we'll warm up our acting chops and prepare an awesome demo, which will inspire people to use or recommend our app to the prospective demographic of users. And that's it. Wow. That was 2 to 3 months of effort compressed into 3 minutes. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that it'll be this easy or super quick to come up with a winning solution. But if you're passionate about your problem and your solution, and if you use resources provided such as workshops, hackathons, code labs, and the network of Google developer experts through Parthian, you'll have a high chance of developing a solution you will be very, very proud of. So good luck to all of you. Use the resources, and we can't wait to see the awesome solutions you'll come up with.
Woohoo! Hey everyone! Today is the last day of Ideathon 2021. Now, I hope you guys are all in the spirit and you guys are all excited because we're going to end this event with a blast. I hope everyone is hyped up for the final pitching and presentations from our 5 enthusiastic teams: Team Piyoti, Team Tricity, Team Sakai, Team Prime Calculus, and Team Beautiful. My name is Timothy, and I will be your host for today's session. I'm currently the website and Discord manager for DSC PSBA, and I'm currently pursuing my Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science at Coventry University. I'm here accompanied with my fellow host, Florence, to host this session. Florence, would you like to give an introduction about yourself?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Florence and I just finished my degree program, which I pursued with degrees in global logistics. And I'm your host for today.
All right. Now, before we begin today's session, I would like to inform everyone that this event will be recorded for publicity purposes. By entering this session, you have given consent of your pictures and videos to be taken off. Now, if some of you are new or have just joined this session and you didn't join the previous session, as per usual, we'll be introducing about developer student clubs and our club.
The Global Student Club of PSP Academy is a combination of PSP Academy visions on nurturing future talents and Google dreams to bridge the gap between theories and practice. This club is committed to building solutions for local businesses and communities, while nurturing and shaping individuals to achieve their best in a peer-to-peer learning environment. In case you missed previous sessions or events, you can check our YouTube channel and other social media channel on the Linktree show.
All right. Thank you, Florence, for the great introduction. Now, as we're starting the session, please make sure that you comply with the following rules. Firstly, please enter your full name when entering the session for identification and attendance purposes. Next, do mute your microphone when not talking to reduce unnecessary feedback which may disrupt others. Not to worry though, we'll have a Q&A session at the end of each segment, so you'll be able to turn on your mic then and ask questions. Also, please be polite and courteous. No offensive or rude language is to be used verbally or in the chat box. We do not condone any form of offensive behavior or language in this session. To raise a question, you may raise your hand, you may type it in the chat box, and you may use your microphone to ask the question, of course, in a clear and concise manner. If any inappropriate questions are found, moderators and speakers have the right to reject any questions that are deemed so. Failure to obey the house rules will result in the removal of participants who do not comply. All right. Now that we're done with today's rule, let's start today's session. Once again, I would like to welcome everyone to the final day of this amazing event. Florence, can you please elaborate on what we're going to do today?
Yes, so for today, our main agenda would be the final pitch and presentation. Before the presentation, we will first have a speaker sessions by Mr. Julius, by the Vice President of the Engineering Team at Harbour, and the lead of Google Developer Group Singapore. After the speaker sessions, we will have an exciting evaluation round where each team would present their idea to help achieve one of the SDG goals. Each team's solutions would be judged by an amazing committee of judges, which we will introduce right now. We first have, again, Mr. Juliet as one of the judges.
Yes, moving on, we'll also have our beloved IT program leader and lecturer at PSB Academy, Mr. Ong Chin An, who will also be one of the judges.
Next, we have Mr. Sharai, the Developer Relations and DSC Community Managers for the Southeast Asia region. a very tremendous and highly technical skill public speaker who will also be our judge for today.
All right. We'll also have Mr. Jackson Kwa here with us. He is the co-founder of Tech Society, who represented Singapore at GSEA 2016 as the national champion, and he was actually recognized as the top young entrepreneur in Singapore.
Last but not least, we have Dr. Mark T. Kitson, who is currently a lecturer at Swinburne University of Technology. His research interest is in assisted technology, VR and AR, drone development, IoT, human and robot interaction. So for those of you that have similar interests to Dr. Mark, you can contact him for joint research opportunity. Now, finally, we will announce the top three winner at 4:45 p.m. and we will end the event with a blast at 5 p.m.
Woohoo! Let's get excited, guys. Okay. Now that we've got a gist of what's going to happen for today, let me first welcome Mr. Julius Uy for his speaker session. Mr. Julius, please take the stage.
All right, cool. Hey everyone.
Welcome, Mr. Julius. Yep.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay, so I guess I think I just have to put up the slides and see how it looks like. I think I will need some help to put up that. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. Thank you so much. All right, so hey everyone, so good to see you all. It's so good to be here this afternoon. I hope I could actually see you in person, but I guess with the pandemic, we have to virtually see each other for now. So here for today, I just kind of want to breeze through some of the. So I was asked to actually do this talk last night. Let's see how good it gets. Also, very good to hear a very professional introduction from friends from DSC. We don't usually we don't behave professionally in GDG Singapore, but it's good that Google still keeps us with our jobs there. That said, let's see how it goes. So for today, just kind of want to kind of breeze through some of these 10 lessons that I'd like to quickly share with you. You can choose to ignore it at your lunch, or you can choose to learn something from it. Also, if you have any questions, right, I'll be more than happy to, address them in the live chat. It will be a good opportunity also for you to highlight any of the things that you might ask along the way. Okay, let's get down to it. So today we are going to pitch. We're going to pitch our cool stuff. We're going to win the gold. But at the end of the day, this is what reality looks like in the next 10 years of your tech career. In fact, this is what's going to happen in the next 30 years, 40 years more. We have a lifetime ahead of us. And this is what's going to happen. When we pitch and when we hear a pitch, what you will usually hear are such fancy imagination of what reality looks like. And then reality kicks in once you start using the product. That's just reality. That's just how we should expect things. It's important for us to know this because we are going into a world where you have people from all over the industry, people from marketing, people from sales, people from product engineering, and so on and so forth. And the way we see the world is usually very different from how other people see the world. And there's this psychological phenomenon which we call projection, in which we project who we are to the person we talk to. What we are trying to do here is to unbias our attention, our cognitive capacity, and to basically share with everyone that whenever you hear a pitch, always take it with a grain of salt because this is just reality. A pitch always is a bed of roses, and afterwards you'll see reality as what it really is. The next thing is big tech. We are here, we are enjoying life with Google, and also with life with Google, we have Facebook, Spotify, so on and so forth. Then the question becomes, should we go to big tech? Should we go to small tech? Should we go to next tech? There's always a bunch of reasons why you want to go to one or the other, and there's not a right or wrong answer to it. Here's what's going to look like. Here's what life is going to look like. Many of us are looking at lead code. Many of us are looking at how how to land an interview at Google, how to get a job at Google. Likewise for Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, so on and so forth. That's just normal. Like we want to be like we want to experience what it is like on top of the world. And after working there a couple of years, we will find ourselves a bit bored. A typical lifespan of employee lifespan at least in Google is about 3 to 4 years. And then people get bored, people move out, people do their own startup. So one of the interesting things that you can do in your life, of course, this varies. One of the interesting things that you can do is to actually go to a big tech, learn the hoops and loops, go to a startup, learn the hoops and loops, and apply the things that you have learned along the way in big tech and do it back and forth, back and forth. And the whole idea is to actually get a taste of what it looks like, in a very mature company, in a very early stage startup, somewhere in between, so that you can see a whole picture, a very good picture of what the industry looks like along the way. Even if the tech industry moves very fast, the cadence is very much similar. So what typically happens in general, the fundamental things that happen in the 70s, in the 80s, even in the 90s, is very similar to what we are experiencing now, only with larger volume compared to earlier years. The next thing is this. Most of us don't like politics, but in all reality, we are forced into politics whether we like it or not. In this world, nothing can be certain except politics. And that's what we will soon realize. We read books, we read Simon Sinek, we read all sorts of stuff that tells us, you should avoid politics and so forth. But in reality, there's no way to avoid politics. You have politics in places like Google, you have politics in places like Hubble, you have politics everywhere. So what you need to do then in your future is to learn how to self-advocate. What we have observed over the course of many years, at least for me, is that software engineers in general are not very good at self-advocacy. Software engineers tend to think that what they're doing is part of their job, which is true. However, if you work with other people, as you observe how they behave in companies, you will begin to realize that some people who are doing things that are not as impactful as you think they should are actually able to sugarcoat many of the things that they're doing and be able to present it in such a way that will win the eyes of management. This is just reality. Again, I'm not painting a doom and gloom picture of reality. It's just for us to realize that within the software engineering bubble, there's more to it than what we see around us. And so it's important for us to be able to self-advocate, to be able to share our accomplishments, and in that way we are able to play a fair ground as we move along in our career. Here's a fourth one, which is also quite impactful for software engineers. It's a book called Never Eat Alone. You would have heard of this if you went through some of the talks by Andreessen and Horowitz. And the whole idea is this. Many software engineers are introverts. We don't like to talk to people, but we are not generally shy. It's just that talking with people drains us. But sometimes we like talking with people. We just try to avoid it. So here's the idea. The older you get, the more important relationships become. So it's very important for you to build your social network one step at a time. Meet new people, don't eat alone, talk to people, build relationships, because relationships compound. Another interesting thing to learn here is that, at least according to the book, which I find success myself doing, is that always try to find ways to do good to other people, without expecting anything in return. Just be sincere, to do good to people, and what it will do to you and to the people around you is that it creates a web or a cycle of positivity, whereby one day if you need their help, they are more likely to help out, And the reason is actually there's no further reason than this, apart from a psychological phenomenon that happens to human beings, which is called the reciprocity bias. People tend to reciprocate the things that they experience from other people, which means that if they experience good things from you, they're more likely to do good things to you as well. However, there's a flip side to it, in that if we treat other people, how should I say, inappropriately, that's what we should expect as well from the people around us. Next, this is a very familiar image. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It turns out that as you age, you move from self-actualization to actually your physiological needs, which means that every step of the way, as we are told, at least from YouTube and all sorts of places, that we have to invest in our future. We talk about investing money. We also have to think about investing on our personal self 10, 20, 30 years down the road. Many of us, or it's not very common in Singapore, but I find it happen in several parts of the world. I'm not from Singapore actually. What I found is that people tend to actually discount the value that they can create for themselves while they're young. The price for laziness is your future, and the reward is today. So it's important for us to have a proper balance between having fun and actually growing ourselves, so that our future selves will thank us. Next is an interesting research that was shared by Google, whereby they mentioned that toxic people who are so hard to work with, they actually burn about $12,000 a year, whereby superstars, people who are extremely smart, are able to add only about $5,000 a year. What that means is that you need more than 2 superstars to actually offset one toxic employee. We may become toxic employees ourselves, and for sure we will be working with toxic people. You will expect this in the next 30, 40 years of your career, and be very, very careful about this, because if you become a toxic employee yourself, the damage that you do to a company is proportional to the toxic behavior you display. What is uncommon and almost a blind spot, if I may, is that toxic employees don't know that they're toxic. So for them, they're actually doing their job. So it's very important for us to become self-aware that we may become that kind of person. So we need to be cognitively aware, of all these things, so that as we go to the workplace, we don't repeat the same mistakes as the people in the past. Here's a deviation, I guess, from the slide design. This is from a restaurateur in New York. And this is what he says: the road to success is paved with mistakes well handled. In Silicon Valley, people with failed startups actually sees it as a badge of honor. In places like Asia, we have different values, and mistakes are not as widely accepted as compared to places like in the US, for example. But it's very important for us to realize that along the way, we'll make tons and tons and tons of mistakes. One way is, of course, to hide our mistakes, and another way is to be upfront of our mistakes. Regardless of how you do it, it's important for us, when we do mistakes, when we commit mistakes, success is pretty much an amalgamation of the good things and bad things that we have done along the way. And for every mistake that we do, it's important for us to handle it well. Next, here's another thing that you'll see throughout your life, your next 30 and 40 years of your life. You'll see that there are givers, there are takers, and interestingly, some people can be very, very rich by treating people inappropriately. And unfortunately, you need both for a company to survive. So that's a reality of life, and this is something that we just have to deal with along the way. Next, something interesting. You might be listening to me thinking I'm all that confident guy who knows everything about the world. Not really true. In fact, confidence is not an indication of competence. Here's an interesting research done, I think, in 2017, whereby they put together various groups of people with varying degrees of sophistication for a particular task. What they found out is that the more sophisticated a person is for the task, the less confident they are. The greatest level of overconfidence is found in the group of people who are actually not as good for the task, which means that while we are cognitively biased to actually, how do you put it, align with people showcasing a high degree of confidence, it's important for us to see this distinction. There has been research over and over again whereby it shows that there's an inverse correlation between competence and confidence. So be very careful with confidence. This is also a psychological bias called the certainty effect, whereby we are more likely to latch into feelings of certainty, and confidence is actually a secret sauce to it. Now, to make a trade off out of this is this: people in roles like sales, confidence is very important because in sales, it's the transfer of confidence. That's why people buy. But in software engineering, you need to let the data speak. So again, confidence is not competence. Finally, this is a reality in our industry. Some of you might have watched this talk by Robert Martin. Some of you probably know Robert Martin. He talks about the future of programming. You might have heard of Martin Fowler, the people who came up with the Agile Manifesto. These are the same group of people who made this study. And here's what it looks like. Every 5 years, the number of software engineers actually double. And it's true to this day. In fact, it could be moving even faster. So where we are right now is that our industry is in a state of perpetual inexperience, which means that there are very few people in senior levels who have the capacity to mentor people of the next generation. What it will do to us is this. You will see a bunch of programming languages that you enjoy today, and they will be obsolete in 5 years, in 10 years. That's the reality of life, and it will continue so long as we have this graph. How do we deal with this? There are a few ways. One is to recognize that this phenomenon exists and try to solve the phenomenon. Another way is, of course, to know that this exists and go with the flow. We are pitching, ideas here today, and some of us are actually going to go to startups, coming up with our own products, coming up with our own solution to problems. These are some of the things that you can think about. And with that, I think that's roughly it. Just 10 quick lessons for everyone. And I think I'll pass on the microphone unless there's any questions.
All right. Thanks a lot for the warm welcome and insights that you have given us, Mr. Julius. I really agreed on the point that where you say that you need to never eat alone. I think you mentioned that in one of your lessons, because usually for me, I think I'm a really introverted guy. Like in school, I don't even want to be friends with another circle. Like I just want to stick in one circle. So I think what you said just now was really profound, and it really gave a new perspective to me. And yeah, I guess I just wanted to say thank you for that. Okay, would anyone like to ask any questions to Mr. Julius? Do you guys have any questions that you would like to give? Okay, so we just received one question. The question is, how do you usually balance procrastination and work, Mr. Julius? Yeah, go ahead.
With much blood, sweat, and tears. Maybe I can give certain scientific research on this.
Okay, sure.
Certain research shows that it's important for us to have about 7 to 9 hours of rest. So that leaves us with about 15 to 16 hours, of active time. We work about 8 to 10 hours depending on how long we work, and that leaves about another 8 to 6 to 8 hours. Um, and then it's important for us to eat as well, I suppose, to survive, and it's important for us to have a reasonable amount of exercise. It has been shown that about 150 minutes per week of exercise is useful for us to have to remain active cognitively. So that leaves us with very little. So then, how do we balance procrastination and work around those minor time slots that we have left? A few things that we should consider. Once we reach our 30s, many of us will have our wives, will have our kids, which means that many of the things that we can do in our 20s no longer applies in our 30s. So it's important for us to think about what our lives would be like in our 30s and invest on it in our 20s so that we can live better lives around that time period. So that said, what I have just said is a principle rather than an actual divide, because different people value things differently. You will find some people who value, enjoying life along the way and investing less in their future. That's totally fine. You also find people who actually invest too much in their future and invest very little in, relaxation and so forth. Sometimes these things makes people happy as well. It makes them healthy as well. That's also fine. It's however important for us to understand the core of who we are. There's a book called Now Discover Your Strengths. There's also a book called The Strengths Finder. And what these two books tells us is that the older we get, the more concentrated we become in our core, which means that as we age, we get to know ourselves better and better. So I would say that at this point in time, don't worry too much if you're spending too much time on work or too little at work. However, one thing that would be good is for us to always take a step back and ask ourselves is if we are happy with doing what we're doing. Uh, Another interesting thing that has been shown, especially when you interview parents, is this: uh, whenever they tend to be unable to predict how much effort and how much sacrifice they will have to invest once they have babies and once they have to feed the kid and keep it alive, keep it alive. Um, it turns out that people are actually very adaptable, and as the kid grows, parents who are unable to anticipate what the future might look like because of the varying, I guess, the wide range of possibilities that the kids will have, they tend to adopt along the way. So if this one causes you to be anxious, just know that humans are extremely adaptable, and you can adapt along the way even if you screw up today.
All right. All right. Thank you for the answer, Mr. Julius. Now let's move on to the next question. Do we have any more questions? Do we have any more questions? Let me check. No questions. Okay, so there are no more questions. Now, since we're done, we'll take a quick break and then we'll welcome the first team soon to present their idea. So before that, thank you again, Mr. Julius. You're welcome to go to the backstage. And yeah, bye-bye, Mr. Julius. Thanks a
you.
lot.
Bye.
Thank you.
Let's check out the solution challenge.
Let's do this.
Okay, I'll present my screen.
Welcome to the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. The mission of this challenge is to use Google technology to solve for one of the United Nations' 17 Sustainable Development Goals, aiming to end poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect the planet. Win cool prizes, mentorship from Google, and swag. Get help along the way from Google at training events, code labs, and hackathons. Submit your solution by March 31st, 2021. Register today. We can't wait to see what you build.
Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome back from the really quick break. I hope you guys are really excited right now because the main segment will start right now. Let's first welcome Team Piyoti to the stage to present their idea. Team Piyoti, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
we can hear you. Hello.
All right, sure.
Hi.
Hey, Royston. Okay,
Hi.
go ahead, Team Piyoti. The stage is yours.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, judges. Okay. Today actually my team members, Francis, myself, Robert, and John will be presenting today. Okay. For our team mission, we would like to connecting farmers together and basically encourage them to farm so that and we also wish to assist them by obtaining farming material supplies easier. And whereby so it's basically a background. In Singapore, we have 90 over percent, over 90 over percent. We have okay. All right. All right. Next. Okay. So in Singapore, we have 90% of the food that we consume are actually imported from overseas, which causes a lot of stress on our food supplies. But in the recent years, there has been growing interest in farming and growing popularity of urban farming. However, like people are put off by it because of the busy and hectic lifestyles, so they don't have time and the energy to commit to this whole hobby. There's also the steep learning curve for the new farmers and the lack of technical know-how for current farmers. And another problem that we discovered is that farming material supplies are not easily available and they are hard to obtain. And the ones that you can obtain are actually like you don't know if they can be trusted or not. But and then so like to encourage more people to farm, we thought that we must make farming materials more easily available. And then how can we do that while also tying it to our vision of connecting farmers together? And then that brings us to the goals that we want to achieve. With the first one being sustainable cities and communities. We wanted to encourage and engage the communities to create a greener Singapore so that a culture of sustainable farming can be fostered where farmers can connect together. And while we are doing, while we aim to solve goal 11, we also aim to achieve the zero hunger, which is goal 2, by improving the productivity of local farmers, which will then increase the quantity and quality of output. With more food, we believe that the farmers can share this extra food with the vulnerable people to ensure that their basic needs are met. And therefore, the solution that we have come up is an urban farming device to make it easy for different organizations to grow sustainable food. And when we what we classify as organizations include non-profit, communities, schools, and even individuals who are interested in taking this as a hobby. And we found that these are what the current farming kits look like in the market right now. So there's like few pots and a bag, and the and a little rack of plants with a device at the bottom. And how can we improve and complement the current farming kits? And how can we be different from the what's already out there? And we have come up with the unique value proposition, which is to maximize productivity for urban farming because Singapore has a limited amount of land space. We also wanted to lower the learning curve for farming. We simplified usability so that the user experience for everyone can be positive, be it a beginner or be it someone who's already done this for a long time. But we also want to do it in such a way that it provides convenience to users.
Hello guys, my name is Robert and I will be continuing this presentation. So now I'll be talking about what our device can do. First of all, it can identify the crop's disease and it can automate the crop health and surveillance. It provides the users instruction and guides to care for the plants and suggest like the farming supply, what farming supplies for the users to get. And in the next slide, we'll see additional features. Yes. For the additional features, there's it takes the time lapse for the plant to see grow over time, comparing purchase price quotation from at least 3 different suppliers. So and also it forms a calculator plugin to see the carbon emissions and carbon sequestrations. Next slide. And this is an overview of how the project is going to work. So as you can see, the plant is monitored by the sensor and is sent to the data sent to the Raspberry Pi, and that is processed in the Google Cloud and sent to your smartphone, which is used by you. Next slide. And yeah, so this is the technologies that we will be using. Raspberry Pi, sensors, camera, smartphones, Google Cloud IoT, and Flutter to create the app. Next slide. And so now I'll be talking about the cost structure, revenue, and also the social environment benefit. So the cost mainly is IT infrastructure and software maintenance, development, and support. Mobile application, web hosting, manpower, this is coding, and also raw materials. And for revenue stream, it will be from sales from urban farming and also partnership with suppliers. And for the social media and environmental benefits, we have we promote healthy eating in Singapore and also widen social inclusion togetherness and decrease negative environmental impact. Next slide. And this is our future plans. We plan to expand and using AR/VR to educate schools and also include a greater variety of crops and also include more functionalities or reward system for users if they subscribe. And yeah, with that, I believe that is all. Thank you very much for listening.
All right. Thank you, Team Piyoti, for the amazing presentation. Your idea looked very feasible and very cheap because I think Raspberry Pi is pretty cheap, right? Out
Yes.
there. So yeah, I think it's an interesting idea, lah. Yeah. All right. Now we would like to welcome the judges to the stage to give insights and evaluate your idea. And also, the Q&A segment for this team has also started. So for those of you who wants to ask questions on this team's idea, please do so in the Zoom chat right now. All right, let's welcome the judges.
Developer student clubs train thousands of student developers globally and work with their communities to solve real-life problems. Google selects amazing students from across the globe once a year to be a developer student club lead and start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower these students to solve real problems around them. Join us in building a global community for students.
Hey, judges. Hello, Dr. Mark. Hello, Mr. Jackson. Hello, Mr. Julius and Mr. Ong Chen An. Welcome to the stage. Please give your evaluations on this team's idea. The stage is yours. Go ahead.
I suppose we're going to figure out who's going to ask first, right? Okay, no,
I can start if you guys are okay with it.
Yeah.
Hey team.
Go ahead.
Nice to meet you, Team Piyoti. I've got a few questions here just to get a little bit more clarity on what your project is doing. Okay. So from looking at the application, the architecture that you laid out very simply just now, does this mean that your IoT implementation monitors the plant growth that the average citizen plants at home?
So I would like to. Gia can.
Okay, so because for now, right, we are focusing on the edible veggies and herbs, like they are commonly found in Singapore, so it's like for kangkong. But as we stated in our future plans, we hope to include a variety of crops such as like fruits and carbohydrates in future, like rice. Yeah.
This is to monitor the growth or how people grow them in Singapore, is it?
Yeah, mainly to monitor the crop health. Yeah, and to identify crop disease, as this is the main problem faced by the farmers in Singapore.
I see. Is there a feedback system? Does it give you advice back on how to grow it better?
Yeah,
Yes.
so the feedback system will be through our mobile application, which will be sent to the users. So the users can like take the advice and like do the accordingly. Yeah.
I see. Are the feedback you plan to make it specific to each case, or is it like a general advice to everybody?
Okay, I think I would like to answer that one. I would say that the feedback is more customized and tailored to different plants because like taking care of different plants requires different maybe different plants require different types of care, and you can't apply the same general. I mean, there are some general advice, but there are also some specific advice. So it depends on what kind of plant you're growing, and that's where our object detection will come in to detect so that you can recognize what kind of plant you're growing.
I see. So is it right to assume that you guys plan to have some form of analytics involved in your system eventually? Yes?
Yes.
Definitely, it's very important for this.
That's the core of an IoT system, right? Because you want to
Yes.
make it specific to the users. Okay, all right. It's good that you guys think about that. One last question from me. Have you guys tested out your prototype? Did you actually build it out?
We only had enough time to like test for a small video, but it's unrelated as it's a video of an airplane flying. But the demo showed that the object detection was able to detect that the different points of an airplane.
Oh, I see. So you tested it in-house. You haven't tried it with anybody else, is it?
Yes, exactly.
It's okay. All right. The rest of you guys can take it over.
All right. Would anyone else would like to ask questions to the team? I think we have 1 minute left for the Q&A session. So yeah, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, can I check? When we say that we want to have a way to automatically, have a proper health surveillance for the crops, what's the plan on how you want to do this?
So if I will answer that, to monitor the crops, there's a lot of variety of sensors that we will use. For example, we can use the pH soil monitor, or the water, like how humid it is for the crops, and yeah. So using the variety of sensors.
I see, understood. And can I check also, right, in terms of the crops disease, right? You were saying that the plan is to identify the diseases. Um, how shall I say? Is it a scalable solution, or are you looking at later on to, think of a way to even prevent disease from happening in the first place?
So for sure, I believe like the end goal is to prevent the plants from getting disease at the first start. So that's why we said we are going to recommend for users how to take care of the plants as well. But for recognizing the plant's disease, there are it's been done before. There are lots of apps where you use your phone, you take a picture of the plant, and the phone will tell you what disease. So in terms of scalability, I believe that it is possible because it has been done before, and yeah, we're just improving upon that.
Thank you so much.
Right. I think the Q&A session is done. I mean, we have no more time. So we'll be moving on to the next team soon. But before that, I would like to say thank you to the judges for asking the questions to Team Piyoti. I hope Team Piyoti found these questions valuable. So now let's bring the judges back to the backstage. And for Team Piyoti, please go back to the Zoom call. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Yeah.
Let's check out the solution challenge.
Let's do this.
Okay, I'll present my screen.
Welcome to the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. The mission of this challenge is to use Google technology to solve for one of the United Nations' 17 Sustainable Development Goals, aiming to end poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect the planet. Win cool prizes, mentorship from Google, and swag. Get help along the way from Google at training events, code labs, and hackathons. Submit your solution by March 31st, 2021. Register today. We can't wait to see what you build.
Let's get started.
Developer student clubs are university-based communities where students learn about Google technology and use their skills to solve local problems.
Welcome to the Developer Student Club's 2020 Solution Challenge Demo Day.
All right. Moving on, we have our next team, Team Beautiful, to present their idea. Team Beautiful, the stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Timothy and Florence, for the hosting. Good afternoon, judges. My name is Eunice, and I will be presenting our idea, Beautiful, together with Vivian and Jaden. To start, I would like to explain why we did not choose the standard spelling of beautiful, which will also be our name, the name of our group, and idea. We want to emphasize the stand. Remain yourself and don't sway to others' judgment, which is why we start with BEYOU and not BEAU. Next slide, please. We are focusing on reducing inequality and gender inequality of the UN goals. Our target audience is the LGBTQ youths in US who are finding their gender identity. LGBTQ can also stand for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, and queer. Queer refers to a person who is not straight. Just to let you know. National LGBT Health Education Center has found out that suicide risk among LGBTQ teens and early 20s is the highest. Hence, we identify youths of which their age groups are 13 and 24 years old. The study of Williams Institute has also revealed that the prevalence of past year suicide attempts is higher by 50% compared to those who has not experienced such rejection. So what does this show? Well, through this study, we can say that the majority of LGBTQ in US tend to feel anxiety disorder, just like the clip art you see over here. An anxiety disorder can be one of the reasons why they self-harm or commit suicide. Next slide, please. Our idea is a mobile application with beautiful as its name. The primary aim of the mobile application is to cultivate a sense of belonging and build self-esteem of oneself. Next slide, please. So we have 4 sub-aims of this application. Firstly, we want to give a place and voice for LGBTQ community to speak up and share their story. This is to inspire and help our target audience during their coming out stage. Secondly, we want them to meet similar peers in the same gender orientation. This is to know that they are not alone. Thirdly, we want to provide a safe home for them. This is so that they are able to speak up without any fear and worry of government and society judging them. And lastly, we hope that individuals in this marginalized group can become more confident, will become more confident in their own true self, so that they are able to summon their courage and confidence and take one step forward. So now I will pass on to Vivian to talk more about our idea. Vivian, please. Vivian, please.
Vivian, I think your mic is a bit, yeah, the volume is a bit small. Maybe you want to increase that? You're muted, Vivian. Yeah. Yeah. Can you try talking? Can hear, but really small volume. Would anyone else from the team would like to represent Vivian?
Wait, give me a minute.
Okay. Okay, sure.
Technical difficulties. Oh, she's here.
Okay. Oh, we still can't hear your voice, Vivian. Can you share your slide, Vivian? Yeah, just please share your slide, and then maybe maybe Eunice or Jaden, you can represent Vivian.
Hello, can you guys hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah.
It's better.
Okay,
It's
it's
better.
better. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Please share this the presentation. Yeah.
Please, okay.
Share screen, please.
Okay, thank you, Eunice. Do you know that our application is not fully done yet? So the design of our mobile application layout and the app we built will be kind of different of what you will see in now. So let me talk about the color scheme, why we choose the color purple, because it has a strong meaning of pride and compassionate, where user can motivate and act of kindness, like giving help hand to each other to help them walk through their difficulties and struggles. And then as for blue color, because we want them to use our app and feel confident, and we hope our user can build trust beyond the community through. So the design actually was inspired by the Pink Dot SG and IG, Instagram and Facebook. And we also have used some common icon where user can available to recall. So now let me talk about the design layout. As you can see here, this is our login and this is our sign up page. User are required to fill in all the requirement field. We also actually get some feedback from our LGBT community. So they actually want to have a option in the gender, which is optional because they are still not ready to come out of what their gender is. So we give them an option called optional. And then for the pronouns, we could like them to fill in because for other users to know how to address them, uh, like how he or she is. And then followed by they will need to agree to the TOS and privacy issue to continue. So here is the profile page where the user can update their code, hobbies, recommendations. So after they update already, right, we'll go to the home page where user can have a search function to search for their friends via the username their friend given to them, or be able to find like search for example gay, so they can be able to find their own friend, and then they also can understand that add their friend to know that they are not alone. So here also in a share post they can share to the specific group or their own particular group. Same as for the go live, also have the same function for the uh, share post. So I would like to talk about this part, which we use common icon like the home, profile, notifications, and message, and the menu where Jayden will talk about it later. So for our message, right, we have this function which has one-to-one message or one-to-many, because some of them, like I say, we feedback they are still not ready to talk to in the groups or comment session. So they can actually get advice from the senior or advisor on how to walk through their struggle. So I will pass it on to Jaden to talk about it more.
All right. So, Vivian, can you go on to the app?
Give me a minute. We need to share the app.
All right. So for the menu section, there's three important sections that I want to share first. The article sections is meant not for public use, but for organizations, administrators like us to share articles, especially to share for those that who just joined the community or those who still have questions about their sexuality. Now we're gonna change. Now we're gonna move on to the second section, which is the event section. Event section we'll be using Google Calendar since it updates every day. So it updates all basically the events that's related to LGBTQ communities, and it will show people of like what events happening that month. And last section would be the contact us section. uh, this section is meant for organizations to put out their websites and their hotlines to aid the LGBTQ plus communities when they need help. Let's say there's also suicidal lines and helplines for them to be able to call and receive help. Yeah, so that's the end of the presentation. Just to say that this isn't the final product, and we'll be using Starter and Firebase to continue our app development.
Okay. Sorry, Team Beautiful, to interrupt. I think your time is done. I mean, it's finished. Your presentation time. Now we would like to welcome the judges to evaluate your idea, and also the Q&A segment for this team is also started. So for you guys who would like to ask any questions to them, please do so in the Zoom chat right now. And also, one more thing, thank you for the great presentation, Team Beautiful. Yeah.
All right, thank
Okay, let's
you.
welcome the judges. Uh-huh. Right, I think the judges are here. Welcome back again, judges. As usual, please give us your evaluations and ask questions to Team Beautiful. Right, the stage is yours.
All right. Great idea, teams. Right. So, just want to know when you are working on this project, right? Have your team ever kind of like thinking of approaching any NGO for collaborations, or maybe to get them to involve in maybe providing some services to give advice or to help the users? Yeah, that's my questions.
So we actually think of partner with Pink Dot, but currently we just get some survey by our LGBT friends first, because in Singapore they are still not really open-minded about this. So we thought of launching this in the US, American country, which they are more open-minded to share, because a lot of celebrity in the US, they are very open to talk about it in the television. But if in Singapore, people will judge them, etc. So we haven't really thought of launching this in Singapore. But if we want, we will thought of partnership with Pink Dot and their organizer to know about what they need and their wants. Because Pink Dot, I believe everybody know that every 1 year they have this event to talk about their issue and everything. So from there, we also can enhance and improve our application to make to user how to say user friendly and know what's the user needs and wants also. Yeah.
I would also like to, sorry, I would like to also add on that because if we continue in US, we were also thinking of working with NGO, because it's more beneficial for them. Whether because our main priority is to help the community. So our app is more towards the NGO rather than the profit-driven companies. So we'll work with the NGO first. Then, if it's successful, we may continue to collaborate with more organizations, which also include the other profit-driven related companies in US. Yeah.
All right. Does that answer your question, Mr. Julius? Oh, not Mr. Julius. Sorry, Mr. Ong. sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Would anyone else would like to give any questions to Team Beautiful from the judges, or from the Zoom chat?
For me, I have one question. Is thanks for your presentation. So, like, if given more time to further, let's say, improve your application, what additional features or function you guys hope to add in?
We thought of having a report system where if some user, like they comment, then they act like they are in the LGBT community, instead of having a reported system to let the user to report. But we also thought if the user increase, right, we will do something like the Instagram like that, or a moderator for help us to do this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, because the problem with having moderators is that if our user base increase, then it will be even harder for the moderators to do so. What we are thinking to help the moderators is to have an algorithm to help them solve some of their problems. But also most report system will also still be kind of dealt from them. Yeah, so this is something that we've thought of.
Our future plan is more of towards the privacy issues because we found out that there are a lot of quite a few applications also target LGBTQ, but their major concern is that they have privacy issues. That's why some of them fear. So our future plan is more of towards the privacy issue that whereby we will not only make it we will also make it safe from the government and try to minimize the government intervention by also removing contents or blocking contents that are abusive or sexual, because we also want to make it just a chatting application rather than like those dating apps that we often see.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Eunice, for the answer. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Jackson Kwa. Now the Q&A session has ended. So again, I would like to thank the judges for the questions, and I hope Team Beautiful has found the questions valuable to them.
Speaking at an Airmeet event? Awesome. Allow us to help you with the basics of Airmeet. As a speaker, you will be provided with a unique speaker link to enter the Airmeet event. Click on the link, and you will directly enter the Airmeet. No sign-in required. In case you have any issues with the link, don't sweat. You can just enter the session directly and ask the host to invite you on stage as a speaker. Once you've entered the Airmeet, you will land in the reception area. The reception is the official welcome area of Airmeet. Here, you can see what's happening live on stage. Check out the public chat and DM the host of the event to learn about your schedule. Click the Sessions tab, and you will be able to see the Go Backstage button for the session you are mapped to. Enter the backstage to have a private conversation with the host before the event, do a dry run, or to simply test your audio, video, and presentation. Once everything is in order, the host will be starting the session. If the session is already live by the time you enter the event, you will be directly taken to the live stage. Once the session has begun, you can present your content, share your screen, and connect with participants via chat, Q&A, emoji reactions, live polls, etc. You can also request the host to play your pre-recorded content in the live stage. You can switch layouts and put highlight focus on a particular speaker. Participants can use the raise hand feature to request to share the stage with you and interact with you directly. Post your session, you can visit the lounge. The lounge allows you to interact with the participants and build meaningful connections through virtual tables and speed networking. And last but not the least, to ensure a seamless speaking experience, you're expected to log in with laptops and desktops with Chrome 79+, Firefox 76+, Internet Edge, and Brave browsers with a minimum internet speed of 10 megabytes per second. If you are in an unsupported browser or device, you will not be able to present, speak, or interact in an Airmeet event. Have a fantastic and engaging speaking experience with Airmeet.
All right. Moving on, we now have Team Tricity with us. Team Tricity, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
All right. Okay, sure. Please share your presentation. The stage is yours, guys.
Okay, give me a second.
Thank you. So, good
Yeah,
afternoon.
okay, you can start.
Can I start? Okay.
Yeah.
Team judges, I am Gurman Bhalla and we are Team Tricity. Our project is the Happy Eco Recycling Bin, or as we call it, the Happy Year Bin. So, yes, this is currently the situation in Singapore. The amount of waste disposed has jumped over seven times over the last 40 years, which is not a good news. This is a sign that we need to combat plastic waste together. So, our objective is to help clean up landfills like Sumaku by biodegrading more waste. So, yeah, you can see here the prototype of our bin. It will be explained later by Marisha. Next slide. The reason we chose this solution is that firstly, it provides an eco-friendly solution to manage waste. It also allows the waste to be sorted out easily and most importantly, helps in climate change. The two UN goals that our team chose is the number 11, and which is sustainable cities and communities, and 13, which are which are climate action. Yes, okay. So in 2019, the Singapore National Environment Agency released its waste statistic and over recycling report. The statistics showed that 90% of the waste is cardboard and paper, and 20% is food waste, 31% of the other waste, and 31% is the plastic waste. It is a very worrying thing to know that there is 3 million tons of waste in only our landfill on Sumaku Island. Recycling is not a difficult task, but not everyone has the time to sort out their waste. Hence, this makes this makes people not want to recycle and just dump their waste as it is more convenient. So the solution will provide a more convenient way for them and will encourage recycling habits among the community. As you can see from the charts, the overall recycling rates have dropped to 59% from 61% in 2018. The domestic recycling rates decreased to 17% from 22% from 2018, and lastly, the non-domestic recycling rates fell to 73% from 75% in the same period. From a statistical survey in Singapore, it showed that 40% of the trash in bins is contaminated, which leads to incineration. Based on the World Energy Council, if plastic production and incineration increases, greenhouse gases will increase to 49 million metric tons by 2030 and 91 million metric tons by 2050. This is not the condition we want our environment to be in. In addition, according to a 2018 study by Singapore Environment Council, 70% of the residents do not know which items are recyclable and which are not. Next slide. Okay, so now I will pass the mic to Marisha to explain the further slides. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marisha, and I'll take the speech on from Gurman. Thank you, Gurman. So firstly, there are three parts: the sensor, the movable shoot lid, and the automatic lid. So for the sensor, it is the infrared sensor, and these are what we found to place in the prototype along with the movable shoot lid and the bin with an automatic lid. So now I'll explain how the solution works. So as you can see, firstly, this is the prototype of the bin. So I will talk about the distance sensor first. So the distance sensor is to detect when a person is near the recycling bin of about 1 meter distance. And this will give a signal for the overall bin to open. So when a user throws the trash into the bin and the waste falls onto the movable chute lid, then sensor bio will detect the trash. And then how this sensor works is that it will detect if the waste is biodegradable or not, and then it will signal the movable chute to move to the respective bin. This will trigger the item detector, and the item detector will signal the movable chute lid open, and the waste will then fall into the biodegradable or the non-biodegradable trash bins. So when the bins are full, the height sensor will detect it and give a signal to the command center to alert the transportation system.
So this will allow maximum usage of the transportation system, which is responsible for carrying the waste to the central recycling plant. So now I'll explain about the infrared sensor, how it works. So firstly, it identifies the materials by refraction of infrared rays. Then once the materials are identified, they will refract at different frequencies. This will tell apart if the waste is biodegradable or not. Yeah. So we have chosen this model for the infrared sensor. This is the data sheet, which is for our sensor bio. Basically, it measures the distance and it composes of the integrated combination of PSD, which is the position sensitive detector, the IRED, which is the infrared emitting diode, and lastly, the signal processing circuit. So the reason why we chose this sensor is also because of the reflectivity, environmental and temperature and operating duration of the object will not be influenced by, this will not influence the distance detection. This is due to the adaptation of the triangulation method. So this is a block diagram of the sensor bio, which shows where the output voltage is, the ground, and the VCC. So secondly, this is the outline dimension. It shows where the VCC ground and output voltage pins are when we want to code. So for pin 1 is for pin 1 is the output terminal voltage, pin 2 for the ground, and lastly pin 3 for supply voltage. So last but not least, this is the timing chart of the infrared sensor. And this is more emphasis on how it works. And these are the 3 benefits of it. So now I will move on to Franzen to explain about the code.
All right, thank you, Marisha. So for the Tricity, we have chose Python for the programming language, and we are using Google Cloud to integrate a connected system network. We choose the Raspberry Pi. Next slide. So we use the Raspberry Pi as it's the cheapest hardware to be used, and we are implementing sensor technology, which we have 5 sensors. We use the GPIO, which is the input-output, for us to easily set up for the input and output of the sensors. Next slide. Next slide. Right, so this is all for the sensors implementation. Next slide.
Okay,
And
I think
next. All right.
yeah, I think the time is up for your presentation. Sorry for interrupting, but now we'll move on to the evaluation segment. So we'll welcome the judges. And again, thank you for your presentation, Team Tricity. Yeah, now let's welcome the judges to the stage.
%82 of teams struggle with inefficiency in innovation. Testing
Alright,
and
I think
validating
judges
ideas is
just
still a
came
tedious
in.
physical process
Hello.
involving pens, post-its, and it's difficult for teams to work remotely. Tracking the progress of multiple projects and storing their data is a complex and laborious task. Innovation teams also work on ideas in silos due to the lack of collaborative tools. This leads to a lot of innovation data being lost. Introducing PitchSpot. PitchSpot digitizes innovation frameworks for teams to discover, share, and build validated ideas for product development and venture creation. Reimagine innovation with PitchSpot. Here's how it works. Structure, test, and validate ideas on widely recognized innovation frameworks, such as the Business Model Canvas. Build roadmaps, workflows, and prioritize tasks to gather feedback for ideas. Ensure data security for your ideas stored in the cloud with SSL TLS encryption. Sign up for free to test and validate your ideas. Share your canvas with collaborators or share a view-only link with mentors, stakeholders, and potential investors. Learn faster, measure better, and build validated ideas with PitchSpot, your global launchpad for ideas.
Right. Welcome back, guys. Hello, judges. Please give your evaluations to Team Tricity. And yeah, the stage is yours, judges. Please go ahead.
Hey, Tricity. Got a question for you guys. So the prototype that you guys currently have, right? It helps detect if the recycled candidate is to be put into the bin, and it opens it up for it to deposit, is it?
Yes,
Right?
correct.
Does it do any checking currently? Whether is it a recyclable, what material it is, that kind of thing?
Yes.
Right now it does. Okay. What sensors do you use for that? Which sensor do you use to identify what material is it?
For now, the group have chosen the ultrasonic sensor.
Okay. Normally we use a sensor to detect distances, but I suppose you use that to see just the raw infrared that bounces off from the material, is it?
Yes. If
Oh, yeah.
for the distance sensor, we implement it only to check whether there is a person which is near with the bin.
All right. Any plans on improvement? What's your plans on adding on to the system in the future?
Like you said, I think about the material one. So maybe we'll add another bin. So if it's not a recyclable item, then maybe the sensor will detect that it's not a recyclable item and then just put it in the waste bin. Yeah. Beside the two biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste.
Any ideas on
maybe.
analytics that you guys can implement eventually?
For now, we are focusing in the smart bin to determine whether it's a biodegradable or non-biodegradable. But in the future, as technology will increase, we will implement where, for instance, like Singapore, all of the smart bin will be put in different locations, which is controlled by the command center to view whether it's efficient to bring it to the power plant. If you ever heard the power plant which is using trash to generate electricity, by implementing our technology, it could reduce the operational costs as it will reduce the manpower needed to operate the activity. And then if it's possible, then we will implement artificial intelligence too to reduce workers.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, please go ahead. For the other judges, do you guys have any other questions that you would like to raise to Team Tricity?
Can I understand more? So you mentioned you have a sensor that actually identifies the property of the trash, right? Is there a way to make that identification in the dark?
And for now, not yet, but I guess we can implement that in the future. Yeah.
I see, and and also can I check, right? So earlier you mentioned you have a distance sensor to check whether someone is near the trash. Is there a reason why we want a distance sensor rather than people just dumping stuff, so that like if it's in the streets, right, people are passing by, then maybe they don't want to throw out the trash, then we waste power.
So basically, the design of our smart bin is that in the top there is the main lid, in which when the sensors detect someone, the lid will open. And given a amount time, maybe around 5 seconds, if it does not detect someone, then the main lid will close by itself. It's also to prevent smell pollution too, as some biodegradable waste is kind of smelly too, sir.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We have 1 minute left. I don't think that's enough for one more question, so I'll be ending the Q&A session right now. Thank you, judges, again for the questions that you have given to Team Tricity. We'll bring the judges back to the backstage as usual. And Team Tricity, please proceed to the Zoom call. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, judges.
Thank you.
Developer student clubs are university-based communities where students learn about Google technology and use their skills to solve local problems. Welcome to the Developer Student Club's 2020 Solution Challenge Demo Day.
All right. Hi, Team Sakai. Are you guys
Hello.
ready to present?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Go ahead, man. The stage is yours.
All right.
Please share your
I'll
screen.
share my screen first. All right, you guys able to see my screen? Okay.
Oh wait. Sorry. Just a quick reminder. You'll have 10 minutes to present. Starting now. Okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Okay, so I'm Sano Jutanage. I'm representing Sakai, and my teammate is Su Miatsue. Unfortunately, she cannot join us. Suddenly, she got a electricity cut. She's from Myanmar right now. So, okay, let me start. Our product. Okay, sorry. Okay. What are we? So basically, our product is developing a platform for penetration testing and ethical hacking for anyone who's interested in cybersecurity and doing their hands-on experience. So we give it's for reasonable prices, but some may say, why not try hack the box, metasploitable too. Those are there, but it's not sometime it's not cheaper. But the Metasploitable 2 is free, but it's not really easy to understand for some people from my experiences I made. Okay, so I made a 30-day free trial basis for everyone who's using as a first try. And the monthly basis, if someone paying as monthly, they can take off for $10 Singapore dollars. Yearly basis, we cut down some prices amount. So each month, $5 and goes to $60 each one. And also it is really easy to understand this procedure. Why this is special, I can say in this we providing our audience with two images, which means the user side and the client side. So each side they can get the experience for it. As an example, as a client as a server side, we can configure their firewall as an example. So they know how to configure in the client side, server side. But at the same time, they can go to this client side. They can attack to the firewall, attack to the servers with measuring their security. And what you can see in the examples for Windows, Unix in these tables are some tools, especially what we're using for penetration testing and ethical hacking, offensive security, we can say. We will line down specific folders like Windows enumeration, Unix enumeration. This is just example. There's a lot of tools which is on there. So because they are beginners only, we are using this. If someone already knows, they can go to their flow. Okay, our target audience, as I mentioned again, I will go deep in here. Ethical hacking and penetration testing platform for any skill level. Okay, and this platform can be used for enterprise training purposes, which means anyone who is aware of penetration cyber attacks, which we can cyber attack, can be trained in their organizations using this platform.
Okay, and also for the personal users. Unique validation is easy and fast setting up. Also, this platform can be used offline as well. Okay, because we educate them to use their offline host as well. Well-guided handbook will be provided, and many techniques can be practiced by, as I mentioned, that adjusting their levels of security and the techniques they're using. Oral analysis is the strength. In this stage, strengths are team members in our side, team members with these different knowledges. We have backgrounds with different knowledges, our team members. Weaknesses are limited time, limited team members. We need more people for this, investing their time. And also investors for this. This is the main thing we need, because we are selling our product. Opportunities is learn different techniques. In our perspective, it's really an opportunity to learn. All right, this is the main goal. Before I was mentioning about our product and the platform. We're talking about business here, sustainability as well. Okay, we are focusing on the quality education, fourth number. What is it? Spatially equitable quality education. We are providing equitable quality, which means every person getting the equal accessible for the platform. There's no limitation at all. So they can use they can use their our product and use as much as possible. They pay after that. Okay, again I went to a business key points. Benefitable for service provider, which means us. So we can provide them a cheaper price, reasonable price, so which is profitable for us. And the benefit for users is cheaper price as well. So they can buy and extend their knowledge, expand their knowledge. And because we are using a platform in websites, I mentioned social sharing. Social sharing is a key point here, because we are using a technique of sharing their ideas, because of the cyber field. There's a lot of exploits out there, which means the current, how do I say? How can I say? You can say every day there's a lot of hacks going on. So if anyone found exploit, they can talk about it in this platform, talk about it online. So at the same time, if the exploit is launched in CVE model or as another model, they can put inside this platform and let other people use it for their experience. That's the main thing. All right, this thing is another way I thought of. COVID-19 alters, which means why our product can be solved during this COVID. Why? These days, after the pandemic came up, this generation started getting used to virtualization and the online learning system. So it is a plus point for us to convince them in some way. Our product is easy to understand because you're already being used to virtualization and online learning system. And at the same time, because the COVID, the people not going here and there to office. So what they do is they're staying at home and doing remote desktop, and maybe a lot of exploits there seen. For cyber attacks increasing. So Sakai, which is our product, is an option to practice their techniques to defend from the cyber risk. It's one of the options they have because of the COVID. Okay, as again, enterprise or personal users, they can use again. These are the services we may need, because by the time we are using offline on our computers. So these are the platforms we needed from Google Cloud platforms as a service, because we don't have much people, so we need Google to provide us every solution and every services by the time. In future, maybe we're using IaaS. Okay, and the Docker services, because we need multiple people to get the same access. Google domains, because of the website we are using, and the social media marketing. Google calendars, Google Pay for doing the payments, and Google Forms for get the feedbacks and improve ourselves in future. And Google Drives too, as I mentioned, the handbooks. Especially, I am planning to use this one, Google Drives, for that. And all SAP top 10 considerations. This is because of I use this slide because of the cyber risk. As a service provider, we have to make sure that our service and our platform is secure from other people, outsiders, which means our audience can use securely without any hesitation. So we will get a we will provide them as we are secure from top 10 or so. And if any case, this is quite challenging. For this one, we need much more experienced people. Okay. On the other hand, if any case we could not sustain these things of STEM, our project planning will be closed down. Closed down means we will break down from the time of the planning of time. And as a downfall, our venture capitals will be also the downfall. Who is investing on us will be a downfall for them. All right, that's all. Sorry, I think your mic is mute.
All right, sorry for the mistake. Thank you, Team Sakai, for the presentation. Now let's move on to the Q&A segment, and let's welcome the judges back to the stage. All right. All right, welcome back, judges. Let's start the evaluation round. Please go ahead and ask your questions to Team Sakai. Stage is yours. Yeah.
Can I just check? Is this some form of an education platform that you're doing?
Yes, it is. We're using the 4th number for it, quality education.
Okay, understood. So it's essentially to kind of teach individuals and enterprise how to protect themselves against cybersecurity attacks.
In some way, yes, but we are more focused on not teaching, to learn by themselves. We providing our materials to learn by themselves. So we don't have to guide them in anymore. After they got our product, they can do whatever they want after they got it. We're giving the initiatives, that's all.
I see. Okay, like is there a demo or like some form of a tangible product that we can see?
Sorry?
Oh, is there some form of a demo or some form of a tangible product that we can see?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, I'll show you this one. I did this one for you, but unfortunately my firewall site is crashed recently. I will show you the demo I made for the presentation. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I will show the video. Just now I opened some, unfortunately crashed my image. I will show the video for you. Okay. So this is the demonstration I did last time for this presentation. All right, I'll show you. You can see that. I will start from here. I can show you the client side, like the user side. This is the user's perspective in somewhere. Okay, if I go here, this is just a basic, not really the prototype. This is what will be happen in future. This is I show you the Unix enumeration and Windows enumeration, which means some tools we can use. We just guided them. If not, also they can go here and use any tools they like. But these are some tools is common in penetration testing. If you go for an examination also, this is something personally I learned. That's why I put these tools. Okay, I will go for Unix wise. I'm sorry. All right, these are some. NR for Linux is not really popular in tools, but is a kind of a, how do I say? It's a, but everyone using it. You can use it from GitHub, those kind of tools. This is a simple thing, but I can put more. I did not mention those, but likewise, I'm just lining up a tool for beginners only. If it's really experienced one, they can use their own. That's why I say well guided, but I will show you the demonstration. All right, this is the server side. This is server side. I use the IP tables, firewall IP tables. Okay, so first what I'm doing is I'm just pinging for sure showing you guys from site to the client side, which means already awake. So I change the rules as side to server sides. Then they know what a firewall works, how a firewall works. We've been guiding them the handbook with these commands, something basic commands. Then after it's done, it will not ping again. I will show you. It's in the demonstration. Show you this time. Okay. I'm sorry. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Right, is it done? I'm sorry, my bad. Give me 1 second. I will show you.
Okay, just a reminder. We
Yeah,
have
I'm
1
so
minute
sorry about
left.
it.
For the,
Sorry, my
yeah.
crash is. Okay. Right. If it takes time, I can.
Yeah. Probably I have just one last question.
Yeah. So okay.
For you. So what is your primary goal and objective in delivering this? Just giving us a high level view of your goal.
Okay, I will tell you in this case. For your question, I can give you two options. Like our our perspective, we can say a profitable device, a profitable solution, a profitable product. For our side, we can get a lot of profit because of this cheaper and usable for the world price, this product. So that's the only thing we can say. But our audience side is easy to like in an enterprise wise. For the cyber threats I mentioned, they can use it for educate other people, the employees, for the future threats, and they can face for the cyber attacks in future. So they know how to they know how to defend the cyber risks. That's my goal. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, so the Q&A session has already ended. Thank you, judges, for the questions. I hope Team Sakai found that really great, found the questions great, and they can reflect on it. Now we'll bring the judges back to the backstage. And Team Sakai, please proceed to the Zoom call. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Developer Student Clubs train thousands of student developers globally and work with their communities to solve real-life problems. Google selects amazing students from across the globe once a year to be a Developer Student Club lead and start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower these students to solve real problems around them. Join us in building a global community for students.
All right. Last but not least, we have an amazing team, Team Prime Calculus, to present their idea. Please do remember that you only have 10 minutes starting now. Okay, so go ahead and present your idea right now.
Thank you, Timothy, for the introduction. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Salman, and this is my team, Team Calculus. So, this is Andrew and Clover. So, Andrew, can you show the slides? Okay. So, can you go to the next? Yeah. So before I begin, so I would like to mention our mission, which is to help the laborers and skilled workers find jobs, as majority of them lost during the pandemic. So now that the borders have borders have opened and the economy is coming back, so we can help them contributing to a recovering economy. So let's begin with the idea. Next. So our idea is known as entrepreneur. So what entrepreneur is basically, we are an online job portal platform which is specially designed to help laborers and the skilled workers find job. It works like a other job portal. The only thing is our specific target is the labor people. So how it works is a labor fills in the required details and in his or profile, and then he looks for the job in his required area. But that's not it. Like he just has to do that. The companies can also post their jobs or the job opening ads, and they can also directly look for the laborers using the specific skill set they're looking for, using keywords if they want. So why entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is different because we use a very easy and simple way, because the laborers and the skilled workers will be using them mostly. Also, we just don't help them find jobs. We also help them prepare resume. So this will be done using a general template, which will be included in the website, or they can fill in the details which is provided in the website. It's a two-way process, so both the applicant and the employer can connect to each other directly. Next. So why is it different from the already job portals which are at that way? You see, if you look for the other job portals, they are mostly for the higher educated people, like degree, diplomas, and masters and everything. The labor people don't have where they can use this technology. So the second thing is it's free to register for the laborers. We don't charge anything for them, and so we don't only help them find the job, we also help them build the resume, so in future also they can use it to find the jobs. Next please. So Andrew will be explaining the technological part here.
Okay, so for technologies, we're using Kotlin for app development. Now we already have a demo. We don't have time to make a user interface, but our main idea is to, sorry, the video. Yeah, here's a video. So this is our demo video. So we don't have time to make the user interface, but our main idea is still to make it easy for our target users to use the app. Since their education level is relatively lower, it must be simple and easy to understand for them. The main API we're using is Google Firebase. It provides most things we need. The making of the prototype is also partly for us to understand the use of those APIs and find out what we may do and improve for our next step. The APIs we need from Firebase are real-time database, authentication, and machine learning. As you can see in our demo video, we also use Google Map to provide a visual look of where they're going to work for the job seekers. The future of entrepreneur. We're aiming to provide a better service to both the companies and job seekers. For example, using machine learning to optimize the algorithm of job seeking and also maybe applications filtering for HR managers. We may also use short videos to provide them a better and clearer scope. As you may know, the short video platforms such as TikTok are quite popular recently, and we want to use this to help them to understand the situations and goals of their industry and company better. What's more, we want to provide with them career training too. We won't charge them until they finish the course and get a job. We hope to use this to give them a brighter prospect and open up their concealed abilities. So next, I will pass it to Clover, and she will share about more for business and marketing.
Hello, everyone. Now I'm talking about the pastoral analysis. For the first part, political, we have a local labor system. That means we have for the workers they receive standard wages within standard working hour, and the uh, second part, according to the market price, use the expert who best meet the needs and the experience of the years of use to directly establish context. And third, we have social part more interactive, and we can use short videos and small discussion room online to help the workers and the students in the group communicate better, and we provide a good uh, relationship with them. We can build their own culture. And third, we use advanced pay-in method. Many other cashless transactions can be made online, and the environment we are very good of environmental friendly because it's only online payment platform, and nothing is need to provide for them except the gifts or the reward. And the legal part, we can provide the customers data and the companies their own information. I think, and then for the SWOT analysis, you can see it on the screen, and maybe we should build our own communicate systems for the workers and the employees, and they should know better of themselves. Not we provide them the opportunities. They will maybe we can assist them to the further improve technologies, and they will build their own relationships, and this is just a startup platform, so we need more business development. Um, but it's also an opportunity for us to survive in the competitive environment. So that's all in my opinion. These are our competitors, and I think many people will know them better than me. No questions. Any questions you can ask us. We will reply you better.
All right. Thank you for the presentation, Prime Calculus. Now let's move on to the evaluation round. So let's bring back the judges. And for those of you in Zoom that wants to ask questions to Team Prime Calculus, please do so right now in the Zoom chat. All right, let's bring back the judges. All right. Hello, judges. Let us now begin the evaluation round. Please do ask questions to Team Prime Calculus. And again, the stage is yours. Go ahead.
Hello, hi. Very interesting idea. So, just want to know, like, you are actually targeting on a different group of user, right? So you mentioned that we currently have LinkedIn jobs, job streets, all these kind of things that targeting on, job seeker with which having a higher educations qualifications, and you're targeting on those who are kind of underprivileged or having less qualifications. So what kind of a mechanism or what are the process that you are going to incorporate into your prototype so that it's easy for the job seeker to key in their profile or to add in their informations and subsequently helps the employer to do the hiring process or to do the candidate selections interview or this kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's the questions.
I would like to answer that question. So the thing is, so first of all, we'll having a resume which will be either you fill in your details, the laborer will fill the details. The second is they will have a template provided so that they can refer to that and they can prepare on their own and upload it on the website. The reason for this because if suppose, for example, there's an electrician can be who can do only house wiring or who can do only commercial or industrial wiring and everything. Some are specific sets of that. So if a company is looking for someone who has worked in an industry level, so they are looking for that. So in such ways, we can optimize like that. So there are specific skills everyone has labels. So that's how we are going to using these keywords. They can find the labels for specific skill sets.
Yeah, I also want to add something to it. So, as I said before, we want to use machine learning. So my idea is to make the description like to make the job seekers to feel as fewer things, and the machine learning will help them to help them to provide more information to the so-called the companies, and yeah, they may have to understand.
All right. Does that answer your question, Mr. Ong Ching?
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Do we have any more questions from the judges? Please go ahead.
Is there a particular area that you want to launch the service?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, is there a particular area or region, like is it global, or do you plan to double down on, say, places like Africa, this kind of?
Initially, what we can do is we can begin with Singapore right now. So once we see the success rate and everything, we can implement on other countries. Yeah, but Africa was one of the areas where I thought, because they are the one needs. Also, the second part we can do is if it goes on, if it's successful, we can help them migrate to other countries also if they're looking for jobs in other countries. If they're providing the visa and the employment, then we can provide for them also like that.
Thank you.
And primarily the target market will be the young generation. Right?
It's not about the young. It's
fresh
just about
graduates.
It's just like skilled laborers, so construction workers or electricians, plumbers, and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I had a startup similar before, so very interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
One last question. So I'm just wondering, do you all have any mechanism to help the users to input their information and profile? Because I guess even you make it quite simplified, because it could be technically challenging for this group of users that you are targeting.
Andrew?
Yeah, so our main idea is still to so for this problem, we want to use machine learning to help them, and also, as someone said, we can use some templates to show them and help them to get a better understanding of what they should fill in to their profiles. Yeah.
So some sort of automation mechanism.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
All right. So the Q&A session has ended. Again, thank you, judges, for the questions that you have asked. Let's bring the judges back to the backstage and let's proceed. Prime Calculus, please proceed to the Zoom call. Yes. Okay.
Developer student clubs train thousands of student developers globally and work with their communities to solve real-life problems. Google selects amazing students from across the globe once a year to be a developer student club lead and start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower these students to solve real problems around them. Join us in building a global community for students.
All right. Wow, what an amazing presentation from all of the 5 teams. It's really great seeing that you are all enthusiastic and you're all interested in helping to achieve one of the SDG goals with various Google technologies. Okay, now since the top 5 teams has presented their idea, the judges will now decide on the final top 3 winner teams of this event. We will announce the top 3 teams at 4:30. So go get your phone right now and create an alarm at that time. All right. But before we get into that, let's first welcome Mr. Shadroy to speak about his session. Mr. Shadroy, please, the stage is yours. Hi,
Cool.
Mr. Shad. Yep.
Hi.
Okay. Welcome to the event.
Yeah, cool. So I guess this is already like a tally portion now, team, right?
Can you say that again? Sorry, I couldn't really hear.
No, I'm just wondering if this is now. We already have all the teams and ready.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. Actually, just to share, we can have all the judges in here instead. We can just talk a little bit about some of the things that we had, the teams that we shown, and we can probably just talk about it. Probably with everybody in, and things that we can think about, and what are the things that we can really look at on this kind of solutions that that are being solved, and what are the things that we can approach it differently, or things that we can ideas that we can put in as well on improving some of those very cool and very interesting projects that we've seen today. I wonder if anyone would like to start. We can probably go with earlier the team with Piyoti, and what you guys like about it, and interesting things that you see that could really impactful within Singapore, or within the region or globally as well. Julius, do you want to give some takes here?
Yeah, I think the disease detection, right, seems to be quite interesting, primarily because the application expands beyond Singapore. If you think about it, you have several countries like, with very vast farmlands, and of course, like, the survival of the crops is something that's extremely important for them. So I thought that was quite interesting. If there's actually a way to, like maybe like en masse look at the quality of the crops, and how they can use data to actually iterate on it and actually improve on how they can improve the survival rate, then we are able to essentially quote unquote solve world hunger there, right? And it would be quite interesting as well if they can improve the speed of crop production, and that could be another way by which they can increase uh, the capacity, the production capacity, and hence be able to address certain hunger issues as well that's quite prevalent around the world. So it seems to be quite an interesting idea.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, I do agree with you on that part, especially in urban areas where farmlands are limited. What are the ways that even anyone can actually create a space for their for food production, as simple as that. Uh, I wanted to hear from others as well, probably Jackson or Mark. Do you have any key things, things that could have been improved or things that we can put in on this kind of project, impact and scale?
Yeah, I think I could chip in a little bit, especially since it's. I'm really happy to see that at least 2 out of 5 of the finalists are some form of IoT application.
Yeah.
Gives validation to the area that I totally love and am invested in right now. Um, you guys got to know, doing IoT is one of the key ways that you can champion the future right now, because it's already in industry 4.0. It's all over the world. It's on you, right? It's in all your smart watches, in your smartphones. The technology is here to stay, you see. And the best way for you to continue working on your project right now is to think how you can increase the user base. You can't just limit yourself to like, oh, okay, I just want to educate people on how to do farming. I just want to educate people. I just want to monitor how well we produce food. No, you got to go beyond that. How can we improve that? How can we promote the doing? Promote uh, the the potential of self farming? You see, IoT can help because it's a two-way communication thing. You're communicating with the bulk of information that you get from everybody. That's called big data right now. See, it's a combination of so many of these amazing technologies that's currently the trend right now. So I'm super happy to see you guys working on it. So kudos on you too. Right?
I like that. I like that. Like how they are using the big data into more sense of applying solutions to the world. I mean, we see a lot of data. I was looking at some of the projects earlier. I have this thought, like for example, the project coming from Tricity, where the trash system, like each trash is basically a data that they get something out of it, and the more they produce, the more it's being added there, the more data they get, and basically it gives more information. It becomes more smarter and better eventually as well in long term. And yeah, very interesting. Let's hear it from Jackson. Jackson, do you want to chip in, share a little bit about projects that you find awesome today?
Yeah. I think pretty interesting. All the groups have presented on their various solutions, and maybe I chip in a bit more on the user side. So like the technology are great. So perhaps one of the things that some of the teams might want to work on moving forward is to like reach out to some of their target users to really understand like whether their technology could further value add. Yeah, because when we gather all these like big data and technology information, it is to serve them ultimately. So and most of these users, be it clients or businesses, they don't buy technology, they actually buy solution. So we want to see whether our technology, is it a solution to solve their problem? Is it something that they view it as solution or just pure technology? And but beyond that, I think all this technology information system that the teams have presented are pretty useful, and I look forward to seeing some of this being implemented in the marketplace.
I like that. I like what you said. User validation is as important as what the technology backbone of any project is about. And in order for you to be able to establish that kind of sense of importance or factor in the technology, you have to have that really strong user base as well of information. Is this something relevant for them? Is this something useful for them? Is this something that they would be benefiting from? And I think that's a really good factor, Jackson, that you have mentioned, that every project should have in mind before they even start on a project. Like, is this something people will be using? can I validate this with real people, with data, and out of that, build the project out around it. We can probably hear more from Mr. Ong or Florence as well if you want to share in the panel here.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe I'll just
Mr. Ong, yeah.
yeah, hi. Yeah, so maybe I'll just add on a little bit based on what Jishan has mentioned just now about user experience, right? So because I think from the pitching and also throughout the whole ideation, I find it participant has been under emphasis on how intuitive their product is. So of course we hear a lot of ideas, we hear a lot of products, fantastic technology that they use to solve the problem, but they kind of like having less emphasis on how user are going to use it, how easy they're going to learn to use and to make it part of their life. So it regardless of how good technology you are using, how good the solution is, but if if user doesn't feel comfortable using the tools or the products, then perhaps the technology may scare them off. So end of the day, user may feel like reluctant to use, or they don't know how to use, they are scared of it. So that is another, I think, very important key aspect that as a designer, as a developers, or innovators will have to really put in place, not to just focusing on design technology use, but need to put the user as one of the priority as well, as part of the ideathon. Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Very interesting point as well. I want to go to another portion of our discussion, and one of the things that the goal of the Ideathon, event is really on creating a sustainable, solution related to sustainable development goals, and this is basically a UN 17, sustainable goals factors, and and that's something that we as a whole should be contributing as well in creating some of the solutions that should exist in our world today and moving forward. What are your takes, or like what are your opinions perhaps in terms of projects, building and sustainable development goals as a whole? And does some of the projects that we've seen today shares those kind of um, points as well? Would you like to start, Julius?
Always gotta be right. I think the one that detects the type of rubbish. I think it was from Tricity, right? Tricity. I thought that was quite interesting because the application expands beyond how you can actually apply the technology in individual rubbish bins. You can actually put it in certain areas whereby you can straight away identify what the plastic objects are and separate them, and you can even like crush them and try to figure out how it looks like, and learn from it along the way. Then you can limit the actual environment impact of plastic, because as they mentioned, right, plastic takes up about 30% of all the, how can I say, all the waste that we are unable to recycle, which means that if we are able to use their technology and segregate the trash, then we are able to create a more sustainable future that for the people that will come after us. So I thought that was quite interesting. Likewise as well. I mean, if you think about let's say the last team, right? Prime, I think it was Prime Solutions or Prime Calculus. They were thinking about how can we actually create better equality between people who are not as fortunate as us. For example, in Singapore, in certain places in the world whereby we have more opportunities, right? It's quite good because we are just born as an accident of nature that I was born in India or Africa, or places that are not as fortunate as places where we live in. We take these things for granted, but for them, right, it's a very different game. So I think that what we have seen, right, is something that the world needs, and when we see them come to fruition, I think we'll build a future for our children to have a better place to live in once we see all their projects come out. So
I
I'm
like
quite
that.
impressed. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like a smarter and better world, out of the projects that and technology that being used out of that as well. Uh, yeah, any take from Jackson? Do you want to add in? Uh,
Mm, I think for sustainable development, is a long term thing, and then constantly there are new goals and enhancement. But I think it's a good start that quite a number of projects I think solve very key things of sustainable development. So hopefully, beyond just this ideathon, they can bring it to implementation, and that's when the real impact will come. So yeah.
I like that. Yeah,
Mm.
it's really on the implementation part where it
Mm.
all begins. Actually, um, Mark Ong, Mr. Ong, do you want to add something?
Yeah, in fact, I think we also need to really look into different country as well, because some goal may not be necessarily applicable to certain country. Maybe in Singapore, when we trying to let's say for example the students, they want to relate how their project can relate to the local context and to meet the 17 United Nations sustainable goals. So it may be a bit challenging for them because Singapore is kind of like very developed already. And when I went into one mentoring session, right, then I hear one team mentioning that they're trying to solve poverty in Singapore, and I was like surprised, like, um, is this really relevant, or does it really happens in Singapore? So yeah, I think that would be something that participants, or we all as a whole, that can look into to contribute, not only in local context but also look into some other countries, especially the country that really needs our support, by making good use of technology, innovations, and see how we can actually help them remotely. Because in the past we see a lot of documentary, or those big shot people. They went into some country like Africa to set up foundations, to give the fund to educate the locals. So I think we need to look into the way how we can actually help those country remotely and sustainably. Yeah, I think that would be my point of view lah. Yeah, because
I
we
like that.
can't keep traveling around, especially during these pandemic situations. So I think this is
Mm.
another very good opportunity and direction that we can actually look into together to see how we can make the world a better place. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. So local relevance and context is very important in understanding if does this problem really exist. Does it really is this something that's more relevant in the area that they are in, or more this is more related to other countries that needs more of this solution as well. But yeah, I do agree that there are really cases where we can really highly focus on who needs the technology or who needs this, who is our target market for a specific project, and and who to implement this as well in the long run. Uh, Mark, do you want to add in as well on sustainable development goals that we are tackling today?
Well, maybe just chime in a little bit, slightly out of context, since most of you guys probably already know about this. But here's just a friendly reminder. We always talk about sustainable technology, sustainable development in terms of deliverables, but please don't forget sustainability also applies to your development process, right?
Mm.
Sustainable practices, make sure you don't reinvent the wheel, right? So that you save your time on those things and then reuse existing technologies in newer and better, more innovative ways. And at the same time, don't lose your sleep. You got to be sustainable too, we have a shelf life as human beings. Okay, just a little short message from me in terms of sustainability. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's very cool. Don't lose your sleep. Be sustainable in even the process that you implement when you're being a part of this project building. Probably a little bit of a personal question to all of you. Were you guys ever had experience joining in a hackathon? Before, what did you do? And share a little bit of experience and that hackathon that you've participated in, and key takeaway. I think all of the students here who participated had experience how to have a hustle through towards building a project. Mark, do you want to start this off? Your personal experience in hackathons.
Sure, sure. Well, the times when I had the opportunity to take part in competitions, we didn't exactly have hackathons at that time.
Oh, okay.
But we do have similar competitions where we got to do a lot of brainstorming. We have 24-hour programming challenges. We've got the intelligent car challenges that I was in charge of and part of the team before. The feeling is the same, guys. Exhilaration is there. Your adrenaline rush is definitely there, especially when you're trying to clock in that solution before the time runs out. But that's where innovation lies, guys. Okay, that's where all the cool stuff happens in humanity. It's when we're always at the brink of crisis. Oh, we gotta deliver. That's the time when you push for excellence. Okay, so this experience, I'm not sure if this is super stressful for you guys. For me personally, I used to be there. I know what it feels like. I know having breaking out of cold sweat, right, and having lots of Gatorade, lots of Red Bulls all day long. Just remember to keep calm, carry on, guys.
I like that. Cool. Thanks, Mark. Mr. Ong, do you want to go next?
Yeah, in fact, I participated in one of the hackathon last year because was invited by my ex-colleagues to join this what we call this a Cradle Fund that is organized by the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation Malaysia. So it was a really very challenging moment, especially when you have a full-time job and then you need to meet up with your teammates to discuss, to brainstorm the idea at nighttime, sometimes until 1 or 2 a.m. and to come up with the idea. And then we join similar process, like we meet up with the mentors. We try to present our idea as clear as possible to make our message to deliver to them. And sometimes we get bombarded, we get whacked by the judges, like what you're talking about.
That's true.
We completely have no idea what solution that you're trying to present. So I think this kind of things happens, but I think most important thing is never give up for any participants, right? So even though you went through some processes, it can be quite harsh sometimes, but if you really take the feedback positively and you try to reflect on what you have done and your presentation skill, all these things, I think it helps. So regardless whether the team went into the finals or whether they be the top 3 or not, I think the process is much more important as well, right? As compared with whether you get the prize or not. If you try to relate, right? I mean, after maybe a week from now, you try to look back what you have done throughout this whole weeks. I think you will feel like you actually learned a lot of things throughout this 1 week ideathons. You went through all these intensity trainings. You get whacked by the mentors. You get bombarded by feedbacks. You get a lot of confusions. So this, I think, is a very important learning process for everyone, not only students, but even I think for all of us as well as judges. We look through how they present, and then we try to feedback them. We try to guide them. We try to provide them as clear direction as possible, and then we see how they come up with the idea. And hopefully, someone or maybe some organizations have seen the idea and are willing to pick up the idea and to fund their projects. So I actually looking forward for some kind of this fantastic moment to happen. Yeah, in maybe near future.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's not really about just the prizes. It's really the learnings. Like in a week's time, you will have a lot of learnings on the process of project building, product building, how you manage your team, how communication works. All of those factors are there. Probably Julius, do you want to add in? I'll just do this.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that all the hackathon projects are so noble today. I did a hackathon project a few years ago actually with so I work in Wiki, Rakuten Wiki, which is an Asian Netflix. And as a bigger company, we actually had an opportunity to do a hackathon internally. So it's quite embarrassing. So we live in Singapore, right? It's very hot, right? So we need some way to quench our thirst. So apparently, what we did was people people who like K dramas. They like abs. They like shower scenes and at handsome Korean guys with their abs. So what we actually did was we created a paywall. Paywall is like an opportunity. Like, how should I say? Like you can only use that feature if you pay. And what it does is that it actually tells you exactly at which part of the video can you see abs. We won the hackathon because of that for some crazy reason. But anyway, it's not something to be proud about. But you won though. That's the crazy opportunity. It's
That's
nothing to be proud of. So
that's a clever way to target your your biggest markets.
there's a blog about it in Wiki if you are interested. There's a guy
Oh,
laughing here because the GDE in Google Cloud is actually here with me.
okay. I bet he's also involved in that project. So,
he blog about it.
okay, cool. All right, Jackson, do you wanna share about your hackathon experience or?
Mm. Yeah, I think back then, I'm not so sure whether that is considered hackathon, but it's some sort of, like they call it startup competition or innovation competition. So over a span of, I think, a few days, you have to present at the end. So I remember that time the experience was pretty interesting. Is that we spent, other than developing the product itself, quite a substantial amount of time is also spent, we call it like getting out of the building. So going down up to the street to really ask the people for feedback, like to ask them whether they would use our application if we were to launch. Yeah, I understand currently because of the pandemic, we can't really do that. But I mean,
Yeah.
if things get better, we are able to do that. I think that is something that is potentially value
Well,
add to you if you're building a B2C solution to consumer. Yeah, so I think my hackathon experience, if I recall correctly, that time I was building something along job uh, job matching kind of platform for
yeah.
youngsters along that line. Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, there are two things, right? One is the technology to make things easier. The other thing is whether the user feel that this would really help. And you will only know until you talk to them and find out more. And which is why the prototyping part is crucial so that they have something to take a look, to touch it and interact with it. And then as much as possible, you observe how they are using your prototype, and that is something that is really really valuable. Because if you were to ask someone, would you use this solution? 10 out of 9 would say they will use, but if you were to really launch it, would they really use that? That is the key thing that you have to find out.
Mm, I like that. Yeah. Very interesting. User validation is really a major factor when building a project. It's something that should be really part of the core of any project. Just to probably add in my personal one, I joined several projects for for fun. Actually, for fun. It's always something that people would think about when joining such hackathons or startup competition or innovation competition, to aim for the prize always. I mean, there's nothing wrong about that. Like, it's something that will really drive you to hopefully build a project to win it, really. But and the best part for me, like, it's really having that opportunity to have an experience being part of like most of the time it's a 48 hours hackathon, or like 2 days hackathon, and the pressure, the stress, and the factors where you have to build and to present it, and in the next couple of days is it's both very challenging, but also at the same time very fulfilling. So one project that I joined, it was a bank competition. They're giving this large sum of money. So basically, I guess the goal of that competition was looking for technology that they can implement on their banking system. And I joined a competition for fun. I invited two of my friends to join, and we're very entrepreneurial people. We're thinking about solutions all the time, and we presented a way back 2015. I think that was the dawn of the chatbot system, where chatbot API messenger was just okay. Let's go. It's opening beta version of Facebook, and I said, oh, this is pretty cool. Let me try this. So I play around with their API and started to create basic posts based to just test it out. And after learning that, I discovered that there's a hackathon coming up, and I said this could be a really good implementation for banks. What if the support it's on the chat system, and then a faster way to get like keywords out of this out of the queries that are coming from that messenger gives a little bit of a context, and then provides a faster response. And another thing is like, is it possible for my account to be accessed directly on the chatbot as well? So during the time I was pitching on the bank, and they have this really ridiculous app, right? Like, and out of my, because I've been using their system, I've been in that bank for a while, and I love the bank, to be just to share. But I just don't like the app during that time, and it was really awful, really slow, really bad. And I was pitching. Imagine I was pitching it in front of everyone, and one of the words that I say is like, your app sucks, and I forgot like who are the judges. The judges was actually the guy who builds the app, and it was like so awful that I realized I felt bad about after that, because one of the judges is actually my personal mentor, who came after me while they were deliberating and told me that you could have won this, but the person who created the app was really offended and he removed you on the tally. And I was like feeling bad about it, but at the end of the day, I kind of learned and have fun out of it as well. But again, it was really just for fun, and the solution was really good, and some of the judges really like it as well. And eventually, guess what? The next 2 years after, they had another competition which I joined, and I had this crazy idea. So just to share with you, they really improved the app. They had, if I would say, they have one of the best banking apps right now in the Philippines, and it's very interesting. I just don't want to disclose which bank this is, because we probably know you guys here. Another factor was they had another competition, and my pitch was how to eliminate ATM cards, because ATM cards are usually getting lost or someone stealing it, right? And if you realize it, there's one thing in our body that is more unique than anything, and it's our thumbprint, our thumb. And the thought that if you, of course, your thumb, in case your hands will be cut off, that's the maximum time that you need to really replace it. But your account system can be matched within your identification system. So you don't really need ATM cards anymore. You just need your thumbprint, and then another verification could be a PIN code. And that's it. And you can get into your account, because again, nobody really can steal your fingers unless they cut it off, right? So that was my idea, and again, of course, the guy who was judging was the same guy, and I probably, it was like a love or hate kind of thing already. Basically, I didn't win, but very interesting. About 2 years after that, they implemented it to several banks across the country in the Philippines, which is very interesting. I can share a photo of this solution that they have implemented. I would say it was cool that they kind of got that idea from what I just for fun, but something really focused on the factors of innovation, how to make people's lives easier, how things can be more efficient, and support goals in the future as well. But yeah, that's just a little bit of my personal experience being part of this kind of competition. It allows innovation, it allows opportunity to think beyond, you know, what are the current norms. And again, I think Mark also mentioned, you know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to improve and really use all these resources that are already there and make something out of it, something better out of it, and how we can, you know, maximize and improve and innovate as well. But yeah, I think yeah, I could be a billionaire now. No way. I think that's something I'm not sure yet. If I wish they could have acknowledged me, but of course that's also a funny session. But yeah, anyway, uh, thank you so much, judges, for joining in this very short panel. I really enjoyed all your inputs, and I appreciate your time in putting this, you know, supporting Ideathon 2021 as well. So I'll put this back to Timothy. Timothy, thanks for this time, and
All
take it
right.
away.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Shad. All right. Once again, I would like to thank Mr. Shadroy for hosting this discussion segment. And also a big thanks to all the judges for the insights and advices that you gave us today. You know, it was really cool knowing that um, you guys also had hackathon experiences, and it was also really stressful for you guys. So, really makes me think that everybody has to start somewhere.
Right.
And also, I'm really sorry that I can't summarize more points because I went to the restroom before. So yeah, okay. Now again, as Mr. Ong said in the discussion before, if you don't get into the top three teams, do not worry. All that matters is the experience and the learning process behind it. Okay, so now I guess it's time to announce the top three winning teams. Are you guys all ready for the announcement? Okay, hope you guys are all ready for the results. Okay, Florence, take it away.
Okay. First, let's give a big round of applause for Team Sakai. Congratulations, Team Sakai.
Congrats, Team Sakai. All right. Okay. Next, let's give it up to Team Tricity. Team Tricity is the second place in the top three teams. Congrats, guys. Congrats. All right.
But not last but not least, another round of applause for Team Pride Calculus. Woohoo! Congratulations, Pride Calculus.
Congratulations, guys. All right. Okay. Once again, I would like to say congratulations, guys. You guys have worked really hard for this event, and I think you all deserve to be in the top three teams of this event. Now, before moving on to the next segment, let's hear each team's story and experience. Starting with Team Sakai. Team Sakai, would you like to share with us how was the experience for you? How was the Ideathon experience for you? But before that, sorry, I would like to thank the judges, and we'll bring the judges backstage first, and then we'll bring Team Sakai to present their story. Yeah.
Let's check out the solution challenge.
Let's do this.
Okay, I'll present my screen.
Welcome to the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. The mission of this challenge is to use Google technology to solve for one of the United Nations' 17 Sustainable Development Goals, aiming to end poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect the planet. Win cool prizes, mentorship from Google, and swag. Get help along the way from Google at training events, code labs, and hackathons. Submit your solution by March 31st, 2021. Register today. We can't wait to see what you build.
Let's get started.
We can't wait to see what you build.
All right. I think Sanoj from Team Sakai is here. Okay, so hello Sanoj. Would you like to share your experience with us? How was the Ideathon experience for you? You can turn on your mic. and then share your experience.
Would you like to share your experience with us? How was the Ideathon experience for you?
It was really
Oops. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I think. Oh, so one more team member from Sakai will be joining us. So let's wait a bit.
For the technical difficulty.
Hmm. All right. Now Sanoj is with us from Team Sakai. Yeah. Okay, Sanoj. You want to share your experience, man?
Yeah, sure. Thank you everyone for the support. Thank you for the judges and everyone for helping me to come here. It was really exciting and I learned a lot about the Google platforms and every support they can give us, and learn more about the business world as well, to how this work in this project management, team management, time management, everything came inside. And thank you for hosting everyone as well. Shafiq, Florence, Timothy, Dylan, Ananya, Jia as our friends, and really good. Yeah, I'm really happy. Also, my team member Sue, she's currently in Myanmar and she support me a lot, even this time, Yeah. So I'm really glad to be here.
All right, man. Let me ask you a question. What was the inspiration behind your idea? Why did you think of creating an educational platform for cybersecurity? Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. Of course. The reason I came up with this is the difficulties I came with coming here by this time for 2 years in cyber field I'm right now. So these are the difficulties I faced. So I thought of developing this kind of platform. So this may help for the other beginners who's in this field. Yeah, so that's the main purpose. And also I want to learn some more about it. So that's the main purpose.
I see. Okay. So the last question for me. Oh, by the way, if you guys in the Zoom call, if you want to ask some questions, please do so. But before that, let me ask one more question from me. I saw your demo video, and I think it uses a command line interface for now, right? For the educational platform. Is your team planning to, develop it, to make it into a full-fledged web application? There's a graphical user interface or something? Do you have any plans for that?
No. The image I'm providing as a server side is not a graphical user really, because the servers are not developed as a. Okay, if we develop as a graphical user, the content might be a little bit, size will be a little bit high, so it takes more space. But the platform is graphical user. The image we are giving for the VMware is not a graphical user, it's just a command line. Yeah.
All right.
But the targets will be Windows. If it's Windows, still we giving a Windows kernel backend.
Okay.
So yeah, no graphical in there.
No graphical. Okay, I mean that's fine. That's fine too. That's the way your product is gonna work. So yeah. Okay. So does anyone have any questions they would like to give to Team Sakai? Would you guys want to know the behind the scenes or something? I'll wait for about 10 seconds and then we can move on to the next team to share their experience.
Also really, challenging with the assignments these days going on our bachelor's.
Oh yeah, are you still studying right now, Sanoj?
Yeah, I'm doing my final years of cybersecurity. I'm doing Bachelor's of Science.
Okay, I see. Good luck for the final year project, man. I think it's gonna be pretty hard. Yeah. All right. I think we don't have any more questions for Team Sanoj, so I'll pass on the mic, I guess, to Florence. Florence, yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, next we move on to Team Tricity.
Okay, so while waiting for Team Tricity, let's wait for Team Tricity a bit. Hold on.
Developer student clubs are university-based communities where students learn about Google technology and use their skills to solve local problems. Welcome to the Developer Student Club's 2020 Solution Challenge Demo Day.
Hi.
Go ahead, Florence. Yeah.
Hi, yes. I would like to ask you guys, how was the experience for you, Team Tricity?
Brandon, you want to go first?
Well, for me, I don't expect for us to reach here, but the challenge that we faced was about the operational costs that was um, which was given by like a statement given by the first two judges during the time in Airmeet, and we think how the way we could actually gain lots of profits and revenue by using our system to be implemented in the real life situation. And from there, we think a very simple solution that we discard all the piping system and changing it into the system that we have explained to all of you. So we could actually we don't actually really want to sell to the company or the power plant company. We will give them freely in exchange of the shares or ownership of the company if we believe that the growth is greater. It has a 15 to 20% per year. And by calculating, we will have more profits than what we could imagine. So I think for the solution, we have answered the two judges. Thank you. That's all from me.
And so, what makes you to participate for this event?
To gain experience.
Yeah, I mean, like, are there any motivations for the events or something like that?
For me, it's because actually, like I did this engineering. So I had to do an engineering solution like 4 years ago for my course. So like when I saw like the opportunity for Ideathon, then yeah, I was like I wanted to participate in it. Yeah.
Okay. Timothy, do you have any questions?
So far, oh yeah, what was the inspiration? Like, I don't think I've heard what the inspiration was behind your idea. Did you guys explain about that?
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
can I take this one?
Just give me a brief, like a short, informal explanation. It's fine. Yeah.
It's just like the basic idea of like waste. like which is like every country and in the world has this waste issue right now. Like even America, like they just dump waste, and there's not a proper way on a personal level to segregate waste, as far as I know. So like it was just a rough idea at the beginning, but like we're really proud of what it has become. Like, so, yeah, it's great.
All right. All right. I'm looking forward to your product, guys. Like a tangible product. I would like to see it and use it if possible.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and also I wanna say it's very
Yeah.
tiring.
It's very tiring.
Especially since you have to juggle with like schoolwork and this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. You guys have a great rest after this. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So let's move on to the next thing.
All right, thank you
Okay.
guys.
So thank you, Team Tricity.
Thank you, everyone.
Right. Now,
Thank you.
let's move on to the next team, Team Prime Calculus, to join us. So let's wait for them to join. While waiting, let's play the video. Yeah. Okay.
I originally belonged to a town in Pakistan called Hyderabad. While I was growing up, I used to see people working on these magical boxes called computers. I used to get fascinated by it a lot because you could actually use it for talking to people around the world or play games. But while I was growing up, I used to see a lot of men using computers. So I wondered if technology is for men only. My dad encouraged me to pursue computer science so I could learn about the world of technology. Computer science in Pakistan is a field predominantly with men. So I wasn't surprised to find out that I was one of the only 2 girls in my entire class. And despite getting good grades and being very active in academic activities, it was difficult for me to find that confidence to lead. Suddenly one day, I found out about this program by Google called the Developer Student Clubs and mustered the courage to apply as a lead for my university. I simply couldn't believe the day I received the acceptance email. Being selected as a DSC lead not only connected me with several Googlers or industry experts, but also helped me build connections with students globally. The most memorable experience was connecting with the DSC leads from across Pakistan and getting a deep dive into Google technologies through a lens of a community builder. DSC had me think about all the incredible people, personally and professionally, I wouldn't have met, and friendships I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for the community. I learned the art of interacting with people, pitching my ideas at hackathons, working with stakeholders, and also problem solving, which not only helped me win 2 national hackathons, but also the DSC signature competition, the Global Solutions Challenge. I believe DSC is just a start. It helped me connect with myself in ways I could have never imagined. I hope that young girls everywhere can step up to create their own opportunities in the position of leadership. And that's the cultural shift I want to bring in Pakistan. Because saying yes is the best thing you can do for yourself.
All right. I think we have Team Prime Calculus right now with us. Hey, guys. Okay. So, would you guys like to share your experience for the event? Go ahead,
Yes.
any one of you.
So
Yeah.
I'll begin with that.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
actually, the idea was Andrew's. So Andrew came up with this idea, but then we both helped come up with a little bit different idea. So yeah, it was a good experience, and actually through my own experience, I could help it enhance it better. You see, before coming to engineering, I was also a skilled labor kind of this. I worked in those areas, so I know how it is difficult for those people to find jobs and everything. So this kind of was a really helpful for me to contribute to this project actually. So yeah, it was a really good experience.
All right, Salman. Would anyone else like to share their experience from the team?
Sure. So I was really surprised for this opportunity that we could get into the top three. So when I first joined this competition, we actually got a very big obstacle at very beginning because we are actually lack of person who can do technical things lah. So the only one can do it is myself, and I know I'm not quite good about that. Um, so I was concerned, and I so later I think I just do myself do best, and maybe just get some experience from it, and I never thought I could get in top 5 or even top 3. So yeah.
You gotta be proud of yourself, man. You're in the top three
Yeah,
now.
sure.
I think you mentioned that you were using Unity to create the application, right? I was pretty
Yes.
surprised because, as far as I know, Unity is like for games mainly, right? Isn't that
Yes.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Unity.
especially because you're using Unity and then Firebase, like, that was really unexpected to me, man. Yeah. So really great thing that you did, Andrew, and Salman too, and
Thank you.
Yule. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Timothy.
Yeah. Yule, would you like to share your experience with us?
Yes,
Go ahead.
because that's my first project I joined
Mm.
in out of the school, so it's a big challenge for me. But I take it easy as just talk with everyone like my friends. I share my own opinions about the business part because I currently study business management. The only thing I know is everyone should have the same the fair opportunity to get their job, uh, especially in the developing countries. They need more help from us. Uh, and they don't have a good education. So I really want to know the life standards they are living. And I searched many videos and articles to find out the problems they are facing. And I decided to join this group because our members have the good heart and they are very they very welcome me in this group. Even sometimes I don't have time because it's near my exam.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. I think you guys have a good chemistry, like between your team. Is like everyone is supporting each other, and yeah, guys. Thank you for sharing your experience. Florence, would you like to ask anything to the team?
No, I don't have.
No. Okay then. Okay. Okay, Team Prep Calculus. I think you could go back to the backstage, and then we'll move on to the last segment. Right. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye. All right, guys. Really inspiring stories, experiences, and future plans from these three teams. I would like to say that thank you on behalf of all DSC PSBA advisors, EXCOs, subcommittees, and other teams. We would like to say our deepest thanks to all participants, speakers, mentors, and judges for participating and helping this event become an amazing event.
We would like to give thanks to our sponsor, especially our platinum sponsor, Airmeet and Pitch Spot, our gold sponsor, Wantedly, and our silver and technical sponsor, Streetmedia, for making this event possible.
Right. We would also like to thank our prize sponsor, Google, and our online venue partner, Google Developer Space, for partnering with us. We would also like to thank our education partner, PSB Academy, for making this event possible.
We would also like to thank our community partners, Google Developer Expert, Google Club Community Singapore, Google Developer Group Singapore, and Google Developer Student Club. Without you guys, this event would have not happened at all.
Once again, we would like to say thank you, guys. For more updates and future events, follow our YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and join our Discord server on the link tree below. Now, again, I can't say this enough, but thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Let's check out the solution challenge.
Let's do this.
Okay, I'll present my screen.
Welcome to the Google Developer Student Club's 2021 Solution Challenge. The mission of this challenge is to use Google technology to solve for one of the United Nations' 17 Sustainable Development Goals, aiming to end poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect the planet. Win cool prizes, mentorship from Google, and swag. Get help along the way from Google at training events, code labs, and hackathons. Submit your solution by March 31st, 2021. Register today. We can't wait to see what you build.
Let's get started.
Developer student clubs are university-based communities where students learn about Google technology and use their skills to solve local problems. Welcome to the Developer Student Club's 2020 Solution Challenge Demo Day.
Wondering how to pull off a massive international conference online? Introducing Airmeet Conference, a format that lets you host vibrant and lively conferences virtually. To create a summit, click the Create an Airmeet button in the dashboard. On clicking, a pop-up box appears that lets you choose between a meetup or a conference event. Choose Conference to create and host impactful multi-track summits. Enter the details and click on Create Airmeet to create the summit. Once you create the Airmeet conference, an event link is generated. On the day of the event, you just gotta click on the link and start the Airmeet. You will land in the reception area. The reception is the official welcome area for your participants and speakers. Here, they can see what's happening live on stage, go through their personal bookmark sessions, see the list of event sponsors, and visit their websites. Also access personal and public chats. Hold on, we've got another surprise here. Don't forget to add a splash of your brand color to the interiors of the event to ensure higher brand recall. To see where the actual action is happening, click on the Sessions icon on the navigation bar to your left. Airmeet's virtual stage can host multiple engaging sessions in parallel. Whoa, ain't that brilliant? Participants can find the schedule of the sessions, choose a live session that they want to attend, and just join in, whereas speakers and hosts can go to the backstage directly from the Schedule tab to prep up for their session. The backstage is an exclusive private space for speakers and hosts to sync up before and after the session. Click on the Start Session button to go live. Upon entering the live session, your participants can find many interactive features such as chat, Q&A, and emoticons to make the live session more engaging. Participants can use the Raise Hand feature to join speakers live on stage. This is great for audience engagement. Speakers can use live polls and also play pre-recorded videos in between sessions to engage your audience and perhaps give a shout out to your partners. How about branding your stage backdrops? Yes, you heard me right. Add some zing to your sessions with attractive backdrops. And why not? Leave a mention to your partners on the backdrops too. Not just that. Allow participants to access the list of people attending the same session and interact with them in the session chat feed or through direct messages. During a session, if participants want to network and meet others, then the lounge is the place to be. The lounge is a one-of-a-kind interaction area wherein participants can meet new people and build meaningful connections. This can be done either through speed one-on-one networking or group conversations at the virtual tables. Moving ahead from the lounge, you will reach the arena. The arena is a virtual booth exhibition area that offers enticing booth spaces to exhibitors to position their offering, meet with prospects that are interested in their offerings, and capture leads for their business. Participants can just click on the stall they are interested in to enter and catch up with the booth representatives in the booth lounge for swift video chats, demos, and discussions. Prospects can simply click on the CTA I am interested to send their contact details to the exhibitors to take the discussion forward. The exhibitors' details like brand logos, graphics, videos, marketing collaterals, and their social media plugins can be customized here. Features like the reception, sessions, lounge, and arena of Airmeet give a grand conference experience to your participants, speakers, sponsors, and exhibitors. But what makes Airmeet Conference convenient for hosts is that it is built to offer a highly customized event experience. The dashboard is the place where you can get a comprehensive overview of your event and also get to modify the event details according to your requirements. In the Venue Settings tab, you can upload the event logo and a welcome banner. You can also include your featured sponsor to the banner. In the Sessions tab, you can add multiple sessions and edit the session details as per your event. Go to the Speakers and Hosts tab to add speakers and hosts to your event and assign speakers to their particular sessions. You can set up exhibitor booths in the Booths tab. Click on the Add Booth button, enter details, and that's it. The booth has been added. Click on the Sponsors tab to create and modify different tiers for your event sponsorships and add sponsors to the specific tiers. Finally, go to the Tickets tab to set up different ticketing slabs for your event. You can find all of this and much more in the paid plan of the Airmeet Conference. Host global conferences from wherever you are. Airmeet.
Developer Student Clubs train thousands of student developers globally and work with their communities to solve real-life problems. Google selects amazing students from across the globe once a year to be a Developer Student Club lead and start a club on their campus. These leads believe knowledge is power and that technology can do extraordinary things for the world. They take on the responsibility to help students learn and empower these students to solve real problems around them. Join us in building a global community for students.
I originally belonged to a town in Pakistan called Hyderabad. While I was growing up, I used to see people working on these magical boxes called computers. I used to get fascinated by it a lot because you could actually use it for talking to people around the world or play games. But while I was growing up, I used to see a lot of men using computers. So I wondered if technology is for men only. My dad encouraged me to pursue computer science so I could learn about the world of technology. Computer science in Pakistan is a field predominantly with men. So I wasn't surprised to find out that I was one of the only 2 girls in my entire class. And despite getting good grades and being very active in academic activities, it was difficult for me to find that confidence to lead. Suddenly one day, I found out about this program by Google called the Developer Student Clubs and mustered the courage to apply as a lead for my university. I simply couldn't believe the day I received the acceptance email. Being selected as a DSC lead not only connected me with several Googlers or industry experts, but also helped me build connections with students globally. The most memorable experience was connecting with the DSC leads from across Pakistan and getting a deep dive into Google technologies through a lens of a community builder. DSC had me think about all the incredible people, personally and professionally, I wouldn't have met, and friendships I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for the community. I learned the art of interacting with people, pitching my ideas at hackathons, working with stakeholders, and also problem solving, which not only helped me win 2 national hackathons, but also the DSC signature competition, the Global Solutions Challenge. I believe DSC is just a start. It helped me connect with myself in ways I could have never imagined. I hope that young girls everywhere can step up to create their own opportunities in the position of leadership. And that's the cultural shift I want to bring in Pakistan. Because saying yes is the best thing you can do for yourself.
Hi everyone. The mission of this year's Google Developer Student Club Solution Challenge is to solve for one or more of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals using Google technology. Citing the official United Nations website, these goals are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. During this video, I will show you how you can research these goals and brainstorm ideas for your Solution Challenge project. So starting with the official UN SDG site, the first thing I suggest you do is click on each of the goals and read the challenges each goal faces. For example, Goal 1, No Poverty. This page will give you a good primer to the challenges we face on our road to no poverty. And down at the bottom of the page, you can take a look at the facts and figures and the breakdown of targets defined for each goal. There's also an infographic you can check out to get a high-level overview of the current state of things as it relates to the specific goal. Go over the rest of the goals to get familiarized with them and see if any ideas come to mind about solutions you can build using technology. If ideas do arise, write them down to brainstorm further later. Another great site that can really help you generate solution ideas is DIAL, which stands for Digital Impact Alliance. We're going to focus on 2 tabs, SDGs and the building blocks, but I urge you to look at the other tabs. They're just as useful for your ideation stage. Okay, so let's look at the SDGs tab and take a look at Goal 2, Zero Hunger. This goal has 8 targets, which help you focus on solving a certain aspect of the goal. For example, Target 1, which summarizes as end hunger by ensuring access by all people to good, healthy food all year round. Okay, so immediately ideas start to spark. Maybe you can build a charity app that either accepts donation-safe healthy food or accepts monetary donations dedicated to providing food. Or maybe you can build a volunteering platform that brings people together to help the community at risk. Brainstorm with your team and see what aspects of these problems you are familiar with. Or maybe you have access to communities who are dealing with the challenge. Having personal knowledge of a problem will allow you to design solutions which are far more effective and easier to adopt. Now, let's take a look at Goal 10, Reduced Inequalities. Target 1, achieve and sustain income growth for the bottom 40% of the population at a rate higher than the national average. What a well-defined target. Okay, so now you can start brainstorming again on how you can achieve progress through technology here. Maybe you can build an app or a platform that educates people on financial and saving strategies. Or maybe you can help small businesses grow through education apps or e-commerce and marketing apps that are specific to your community. For example, in my community, the elderly struggle with finding online educational content, and I might consider building an elderly-friendly educational platform. This platform can potentially provide the elderly with equal opportunities at learning new skills and at increasing their income. You'll see that going through these web pages will spark many ideas in your mind. Write them down and discuss them with your team. See which idea really strikes a chord with your ability and your belief. You'll be working on this for a while. You want to solve a goal that you are passionate about or that's really close to home. In the next video in the series, I'll be going through a demo case study. I'll pick up an idea and simulate the steps my team and I will take towards a successful demo submission. I hope the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals inspire you to solve for your community in a meaningful way. We can't wait to see all of your demo submissions.